Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Yeah. Before we start, if there's anybody in the back that can't hear, just raise your hand and we'll turn the volume up. So don't shout out, just raise your hand. As a courtesy, the Hopewell Borough Planning Board offers remote viewing of its meetings using the Zoom platform. Remote access is provided for viewing only and is not guaranteed. Questions and public comments cannot be made online at this time. Anyone wishing to participate must attend the meeting in person. Notice of this meeting has been provided to the Hopewell Valley News, the Times of Trenton, Trentonian, and posted on the Borough website in compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act. Susanna, would you do a roll call?
Mayor Kennedy, Mr. Buda,
Here.
Ms. Baxter, Mr. Donaldson,
Here.
Ms. Lyon,
Here.
Ms. Perry,
Here.
Mr. Young,
Here.
Ms. Phillips, here, Vice Chair Borough, here, and Chairman Macker.
Here. We have a chance. Let's take a look at the minutes from the February 18th meeting, and I'll entertain a motion to approve when you're ready.
So made. Wait.
All in favor?
Page 3.
Oh, you said wait, not second. Okay. Yeah, you do.
Ms. Slagle explained that the township adopted the housing element should be Borough or town.
So
That was,
that was verbatim. It should be town, but that's what that's what was said. So.
You're just saying town.
I know.
Okay,
You're perfect all the
We'll
time.
get over it.
So
That's it.
that was it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Abstained. All right, we've got 4 vouchers on the agenda. Is that? Oh,
They were
Sorry.
at, yeah,
we got a couple added. Never mind. I didn't pick that up.
here, I'll give you the updated.
Oh, yeah. So when you're ready, I'll entertain a motion to approve the vouchers.
So made.
All second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstained? Okay, at this point, I'm gonna open the floor to the public for any item that's not on tonight's agenda. And I also want to mention at this point that I will be closing the meeting at 10 o'clock tonight. So we've got 3 hours. Whatever we don't cover tonight, we'll be continued on to another meeting. Our attorney will let you know when that meeting is going to be at the end of this one. Does anybody have anything that's not on the agenda tonight? Yes.
Hi, my name is Melissa Cookman. This is for the board, that's why I'm not, it is about 57, but it is a question they couldn't possibly answer. So my question is, when Hopewell hired an independent, Boswell, I believe it was, to do a traffic study, an independent traffic study, it appears as though what they presented us is simply an analysis, and they didn't do analysis of what the developer's traffic study said, which to me isn't a traffic study. So
We will be covering that when we talk about traffic.
Okay, but that's not a question I can,
It is a question you can ask during the traffic testimony. Yes.
okay, then I will be back.
Keith. Joanna, this is the question that I was referring to.
Okay.
Hi, Keith, how are you? Off the street, it's just a question, so I'm not. So I have 2 questions. First, I understand, the public notice requirement, 200 feet was provided. And that this was the location that the meeting was to take place. The request, or at least the question I have is, given the fact that the initial notice was provided for this location, but these are continuing meetings, whether or not we can consider an alternate location, given the fact that people who are participating remotely, who can't be in here because of space, if we can consider an alternate location so that more people can participate and be able to ask questions, given the limitations of participation remotely and the confines of this space, because you already have people who are standing in the back. If there's a legal basis why that's not allowed, if someone could produce that to me, But otherwise, I just want to at least offer that for consideration of an alternate location.
Do you want to address that, Christopher, or do you want?
I think it's something that the board can talk about at the end of the meeting. If
Okay.
you want to see if there's a way to do it. If that would be requiring new notice though, just to put the applicant.
Well, even if it were announced as part of your carrying the.
Well, I guess we could announce it and we could put it in on the website as well. I guess it would be up to you if you would want to, provide it as well. So it's,
Okay, all right.
it's something we.
Duly
can talk
noted, we'll work on it.
But we're
Yeah.
also talking the matters this night.
We have to do.
We should be talking about things that are in this section of the, the hearing. This is relevant to the application, so we should.
I'm sorry, I talked to Joanne about this, I didn't talk to you about it earlier, so, I agree to hear these two.
Oh, okay,
So,
okay.
yeah,
all right.
because they relate to the application, but, they are
Administrative.
more administrative,
So it's
yeah.
something we can talk about.
And then the second question is, just a point of clarification. When I look at the redevelopment agreement that is executed and posted online, when you get to the end of the document, there's a reference to Exhibit A. In the PDF, there is no attachment that is the Exhibit A document. Although there is a reference to the redevelopment plan, there is a separate link to a document that is identified as the redevelopment plan. It is identified as a draft document. It was the document that appeared to have been approved in the July 2024 meeting. But it is not an entire complete document for the purposes of a contract. So when I'm reviewing it and I'm going to be asking questions going forward, I'd like to make sure that the attachment A to the contract is the correct attachment A.
It is, and it was broken up that way on the website because of file size.
Okay.
So you're right, what you were looking at was the correct one that went with the contract.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so I didn't know if there's a way in which, at least in the PDF on the document, that it could be a hyperlink as an additional page on the Exhibit A, so then that way people know that the Exhibit A, when they click on the link, then that they're going to the correct one. I understand the representation, it's just, there are some people who are not at the meeting, so when they look at the document, they'll see what they're perceiving to be maybe an incomplete agreement.
we'll definitely look at that and see if we can fix it.
Okay, all right, those are my.
That's for the tech people.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
I just want to make sure that I'm looking at the complete and the correct documents. I don't want you looking and asking questions about the wrong document, and wasting people's time. So,
Yeah. No, you were looking at the right.
okay, great. All right. I don't have any other questions.
Does anybody have anything tonight that's not on the agenda? Okay, seeing no one forward. Oh, sorry.
Thank you. So I'm James Higgins. These are clarification questions from the previous meeting. Is that all right to ask that question?
No,
Okay, when will that be appropriate time?
when we get to the open section.
Very good, thank you.
Questions.
James Higgins.
Okay, Christopher, I think we're ready to go. Yeah.
I think we have a couple new faces here, so I'll probably just give an intro about where we are and what we're gonna do.
Thanks,
Mr. Chair.
That's great.
So this is a continuation meeting of actually, we didn't call it for the record, so let's,
Do we need to recuse anybody else?
yes, we gotta recuse.
Just Paul, he came down.
Okay.
And.
It's
yeah,
usually Allison.
Three,
She's not here.
we had 3 people recused and they're no longer,
Right.
so that's, okay. So this is a continuation of the hearing from February 4th. As we explained last time, so everybody understands what's going on. The applicant is in the process of presenting their case. They have various witnesses. A couple of witnesses have come up. What happens is if they're an expert witness, they get sworn in and qualified as an expert. If they're a fact witness, not an expert witness, they'll just be able to testify as to what they observed and what they talked about. We've opened up questions after a witness gets up to the public. for the purpose of just moving things forward, so people have the opportunity to ask questions now, rather than wait until all the witnesses are done, and at the end, when we normally open up public comments. So you're gonna hear a couple of witnesses this evening. I think we left off, we're gonna be starting with the architect tonight, probably move into traffic, and then we have a couple other witnesses that the applicant may have. So we will have moments in between where the chair will open up questions to the public. This is not the type of, this is not the part of the hearing where you would make your case. This is just for questions of the applicants, your ability to cross-examine or question anybody that's providing any testimony. After the applicant completes their case, they have gone through all their witnesses and their testimony and their exhibits, then the chair will open it up to the public for the public's ability to, either ask more questions or basically make arguments. You could argue that you're for the project and against the project, bring up issues, concerns, and it's at that moment that you can make statements for the record and voice your opinion. Make your statements, even if you have experts, you could bring those. If they are experts, they would have to be qualified. Bring your own exhibits. That will occur after the applicant completes their case. I think that pretty much covers where we are and where we left off. I don't want to spend too much time, but I wanna kind of get this moving along with the next witness.
Okay, I just have one statement to make before we get started. And so before we resume the hearing, I'd like to take a moment to thank everyone who's participating in the hearing tonight. It's been great to hear all the questions asked in a respectful manner. I know here and online, everyone wants what's best for Hopewell. We may disagree on what best looks like, but for each of us, I thank you for engaging in the process. With that, let's hear the
Turn it over to you.
I just have one word with you.
Right when you.
Yeah.
Let's see if.
Everybody has to do something, so.
Like, okay, didn't seem like it was moving, it wasn't following.
The voices.
I might want to explain it on the podium in case it doesn't move.
Podium is which way? This way? My. No, wait, I'm in the wrong way. This way.
Is it not timely?
It's not doing its motion.
We're having troubles with the, on that visual.
No. Oh,
It's like
okay.
Very, it's like you're one.
Sorry, Mr. Chair, we're ready to go.
Are we ready to go? Okay.
Thank you.
Go.
Thank you for your patience.
Hey, folks, good start. Thank you.
Charles Liebman, Windell's Marks Lane and Middendorf, representing the applicant, Hopewell 57, LLC. Just to quickly summarize, the application is for preliminary and final site plan approval with no variances or design waivers. It's a redevelopment project pursuant to the redevelopment plan and adopted redevelopment agreement. And it meets the affordable unit set aside requirement.
You'll have to speak up. They can't hear you in the back.
Microphone?
There's a microphone sitting here, is it?
It's just.
I think it's just.
It's not.
It's recording.
It's, yeah.
Okay. Should I start over?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Charles Liebling, Windell's Marks Lane and Middendorf, representing Hopewell 57 Urban Renewal Entity LLC, the applicant. The application is for preliminary and final site plan approval with no variances or design waivers. It's a redevelopment project pursuant to an adopted redevelopment plan and an approved redevelopment agreement. And it meets the affordable housing set aside requirement. Last month, you heard testimony from Jeffrey Albert on behalf of the applicant, as well as our civil engineer. Tonight, we'll be presenting expert testimony from Michael Cowder of Cowder and Kelly, the project architect, and Victor Anasike, the project's traffic engineer from Bowman. And without any further delay, I'd like to introduce Michael Cowder of our architect.
I don't believe you were sworn in before. Okay, can you raise your hand? Do you swear affirm to tell the truth?
I do.
Thank you, and, you might
Yeah.
qualify.
Would you like to give the board the benefit of your professional qualifications?
Yes, I graduated with a Bachelor's of Architecture degree from Rhode Island School of Design in 1981. I've been a registered architect for 40 years. National Council of Architectural Registration Board certified. I'm a member of the AIA. I'm licensed in New Jersey, New York, and Pennsylvania, and I've been principal and president at Cowder and Kelly Architects for 32 years.
Have you been accepted as an architect by other boards in the state of New Jersey?
In New Jersey, no.
First time?
Yeah.
Okay, well, he's licensed in New Jersey
Yeah.
and we.
And your license is current, correct? All right.
We will accept this application.
Okay, okay, I'm gonna let you, walk the board and the public through your presentation. John, questions if I have.
All right, thank you. All right, so I'm here to give a presentation that specifically responds to chapter 12 of the zoning 12-24.6 and other provisions and requirements that are pertinent to this development project and design project. Slide A6 is a existing conditions slide identifying in yellow the existing warehouse and light industrial portion of the neighborhood that abuts the site. In fact, I need a quick version here.
So this is, we left off with exhibit A5 at the February 4th meeting. This is exhibit A6. We're gonna mark it at the March 4th meeting, and it's, this is an aerial, is this the one that's entitled Neighborhood Historic Context? Okay.
Sorry about that. So this is the site for the development, and this is the light industrial warehouse section of the neighborhood. I'd like to talk a little bit about building design, elevations and floor plans, neighborhood historic contexts, and building types. The four-story apartment building design and detail considerations were informed by Railroad Place early to mid 20th century light industrial and warehouse architecture, massing, and the materiality of those buildings. Design was improved through the review process with the Hopewell Historic Preservation Commission. The design includes 8-inch recessed, large-scale windows, fenestrations that are 4 feet 6 inches to 5 feet 6 inches wide by 7 feet 4 inches tall. The majority of the apartments incorporate balconies with painted metal rails. There's a total of 78 apartment units in the L-shaped four-story. The 2.5-story stacked townhouse design was influenced by neighborhood and mid-century arts and crafts and bungalow-style wood frame residential architecture along Lafayette, Hamilton, and the neighboring streets. The architecture that we're pointing to, thanks, is the areas, the architecture that's identified in the lavender crochet as opposed to the yellow. And then
On exhibit 9, if you could say the exhibit numbers.
Yeah.
on exhibit 9, excuse me, thank you.
So just for the record, let's just go through. A7 is a photo board. A8 is the apartment building north and west exterior elevation. A9 is the aerial image of the neighborhood historic context. And I think you got to, did you show A10 too at one point?
Not yet.
Okay, you go. A10, it's another photo board, arts and crafts and bungalow style architecture. Okay, so now you can refer to these.
All right, thank you. So the design incorporates front porch entrances, a mix of clapboard siding and shingles, extended roof eaves, rooftop dormers, fenestration rhythms, and single-family residential scale relationships. There are 42 units in the townhouse design. The one-story community building was designed and influenced by railroad place, mid-century light industrial and warehouse architecture as well. The proposed building has low sloped, slide 8-13, shows the building's elevations. It has low slope roofs, extended roof eaves, and vertical siding. The building features a fitness center, a co-work area, leasing office, package room, and pet spa. Spa was much debated at the last meeting, as you can tell from the audience reaction. The designs conform to building maximum dimension criteria, as is indicated on Exhibit A14 on the floor plan of the four-story apartment building. These are two typical floor plans, the first and second floor. You can see on the floor plans. You can see on the floor plans that we have a vertical stair circulation at either end of the two wings, an elevator lobby, and the shaft in the middle of the building. The apartment building is 225 feet on its longest dimension. Other facade lengths are 183 feet and 70 feet.
And just for the record, you're at 814.
Yes. A15, the next exhibit, are plans of the stacked townhouses. One 12-unit building is 124 feet long at its longest dimension by a depth of 42 feet. Three 10-unit buildings are 104 feet long by 42 feet. The one-story community building has a footprint of 72 feet by 53 feet. Regarding applied methods for variations in setbacks, materials, and colors, as shown on A17, the architecture of the four-story apartment building is defined by an L-shaped floor plan and is articulated with cantilevered roof projections, undulating semi-recessed balconies, and the modulation of the use of brick, masonry, board and batten vertical siding, and fiber cement panel surface textures and colors.
And you were showing A17 at the time, now you, right? A17, now you're on A18?
Yeah. So with A18, the side colors include terracotta colored brick, pewter panels, dark gray vertical siding, and dark bronze gutters and downspouts. Referring to Exhibit A18. Moving on to Exhibit A19, the 2.5-story stacked townhouses utilize a mix of varied building massing with 15-foot wide pass-through openings and an open corner plaza at Lafayette Street and Hamilton Avenue. The street fronts of buildings shift front to back with 2-foot changes in depth at 20-foot wide single units and 40-foot wide double unit areas. Exhibit A20 shows each features entry porch
Hey,
projection.
folks, sorry. Could you silence your phones, please, or turn them off? Thanks, appreciate it. Sorry about that.
On Exhibit A20, each features entry porch projections and alternating rhythms of gable and shed dormers at the roof eave line. Exhibit 21, facades incorporate a mix of medium gray and sage colored siding and shingles and dark bronze gutters and downspouts. Exhibit A22 is basically focused on the community building. The facades of the one-story community building are offset on all four sides and are sculpted around interlocking shed roof spaces, responding to variations in the program and views out to the campus landscape. Exhibit A23, facade colors incorporate slate blue siding, dark bronze standing seam metal roofs, and dark bronze gutters and downspouts. Exhibit A24, regarding flat roofs, the four-story apartment building has a 1/4 inch per foot flat roof design that incorporates visually screened rooftop mounted mechanical equipment. The building's perimeter facades incorporate a continuous parapet with a height of 3 feet 6 inches minimum from the roof surface to the parapet coping. The roof is accessible via 2 internally positioned stair towers and 1 centrally located elevator tower with 2 elevators. The roof has a dedicated passive seating, 3,900 square foot roof deck area for tenants. That's identified in the beige. In the central portion of the roof with the access to the stairs and the elevator, including an elevator lobby and bathrooms adjacent to the elevators. Rooftop lighting will utilize shielded light fixtures and are dark sky compliant. Regarding HVAC and mechanical equipment, all equipment is screened from pedestrian view. The architectural styles, as previously noted, incorporate stylistic features, scale, and massing relationships and construction detail elements found in the residential and industrial neighborhood context. The townhouse designs provide visual screening between Lafayette Street and Hamilton Avenue to the large scale structure of the apartments beyond. The apartment building entrances are located off of Somerset Street and within the private courtyard defined by the community building. The community building is designed and sited in a manner that provides a transition of scale from the 4-story apartment building to the backyards of the 2.5-story townhouses. Regarding future solar considerations, each of the building designs incorporates spare electrical conduit to support the possible future installation of solar electrical systems. Regarding building placement, the townhouses located along Lafayette Street and Hamilton Avenue are 2.5 stories with a total height of 36 feet 6 inches and are designed to be complementary to the residential architecture. The 4-story apartment building is situated along Somerset Street and the rear eastern property line of Block 18, Lot 1, which limits its scale impact on the development of the property as a whole. The 4-story apartment total building height is 49 feet 6 inches. The community building height is 27 feet to the high point of the roof. Neighborhood walkability is enhanced as the site design incorporates 4 foot and 6 foot wide pedestrian sidewalks located around the perimeter of the buildings and through the openings between them. And with that, I will.
And you're ending on exhibit 825, which I would say is a bird's eye rendering.
Yes.
How you would describe it.
So I have,
I have no questions.
okay, so I have a question. I believe that that courtyard in front, on the corner of Lafayette and Hamilton has been changed. Is that correct?
Yes.
I think I'm still sworn, correct?
You are.
Okay. Yeah, I can address that. I was gonna present that a little later on in
That's fine.
presentation,
Okay,
but
I
yes,
just-
that's completely.
I think what I wanted to do is I wanted to take that big sign out of the
Yeah.
discussion.
It's
Right.
not,
It's
it's not
gone.
part of our
Right, okay,
proposal.
that was all I was trying to do, okay. So, yeah,
You gave the height of the 4-story building and the community center. What's the height of at the peak of the buildings?
Townhouses?
Yeah.
36 feet 6 inches.
Okay. You have, I haven't seen it yet, but do you have a perspective of standing on Hamilton or standing on Lafayette and looking up and seeing, I mean, how do I have a perspective of, are those 4-story buildings just, I can't see them? I mean, I'm just trying to get a perspective. It is a bird's eye view and I can see them.
Let's go back. Let's go back a couple of slides. I think the one gives you an idea right there. No, keep going. Hold it. You're going around directly. This one right here, Micah, is what I think he's asking.
Yeah.
Does that help?
Yeah, that might. Yes.
Does that help?
I think what they're asking for is one that, say you're across the street from standing across the street on Lafayette or Hamilton, looking at the townhouses, so, right.
That's what that is. Correct.
Well, this is across the street, looking at the townhouses, so you can see that the apartments are completely obliterated by the 2.5-story townhouses. At the corner where there's an opening.
19.
You, go ahead, continue, yeah,
Well, I think this is answering your question about what it looks like from across the street.
Okay.
In front of a townhouse, and if you're turning the corner at Lafayette and Hamilton, where there's a break between the townhouses, you can see into the community building and catch a glimpse of part of the 4-story. Actually, you're really just seeing the 4th floor of the 4-story apartment building in the back.
that answers your question,
Yeah.
thank you.
Can you identify, and I'm looking at this one, you said all mechanical HVAC is hidden. But it looks like on the ones on the 4-story, it looks like I can't see it, is there mechanical? on?
These 2 towers that you see on this rendering
Yeah,
are the stair towers meeting the roof. There are mechanical spaces next to them that are completely enclosed.
so do you have, on your plan, do you have where all the mechanicals are going for? the
No,
town?
not yet, we do not. We know that they're going on the roof and we know that we're gonna screen them, and I also, I pointed out, I don't know what this is, I'm gonna say this is probably very close to 3 feet 6 inches. And the parapet around the entirety of the building is this height. So within that is where the mechanical equipment that would be located on the roof would also have screening in front of it, so.
So that parapet is at 49 feet from the ground. Is the parapet 49 feet from the ground, or the top of the elevator shafts 49 feet from the ground?
The top. That's a good question. Do you know, Mark?
Of the building itself.
It's the roof elevation. It's the high point of the roof elevation. The parapet is an additional 3 feet 6 inches above that.
So we're talking
But that's
about
the way
50
that's
to-
the way your zoning reads.
No, I'm simply asking a question. I'm not, I'm simply asking a question. So 52 to the top of the parapet. No, wait a minute. Yeah, 49 feet plus 3, so 52,
Right.
right? And then the elevator shafts are how much more above that? I'm just trying to get a sense for the total height here.
The elevator shafts are approximately 12 feet 6 inches above the roof elevation.
Okay, so another 11, 9 feet. Yeah, okay, thank you.
But again, they don't contribute to the total height of the building.
Well, they do, they don't legally, but, right, yeah, right. So we have any other questions up here before I open it up to the,
Well, hold on,
yep? Maybe,
yeah.
okay,
Can we, just to answer your question a little
Yeah.
bit better possibly, and I'm going off the recollection, I wasn't looking at the screen for one of the exhibits. Mike, if you could back up to the entrance elevation on Somerset, where the perspective is taken from the other side of Somerset looking at the building. This is a 3-dimensional model, so those stair towers, the elevator towers, everything that we've been talking about is modeled into this. They're not,
so they're far enough back from the edge of the roof.
yeah, you're not gonna see
Okay.
any of that stuff.
Okay.
Exhibit 17, A17.
Yeah. Except the parapet, you will see.
This is a 3-dimensional model, and we could get you other views if it satisfied the board to do that.
I'm simply.
But I can assure you that.
So the parapet, but the orange there from the ground to the top
Mhm.
is not 49 feet, right? That's the 52 feet.
That's the 52.
Okay. Now, I understand the ordinance says roof height. I understand that. Did you have a question?
No, that was it.
Okay. Any other questions up here? Comments? Okay. With that, I'm going to open the floor to the public. You'll need to come. Oh, sorry.
I would, because the architecture relates to historic, did you want to hear from Michael? Mills?
Sorry about that. Yes. you're right. Michael, I think you're up.
We're gonna hear from the,
Historic preservation.
Yeah. Oh,
Yep.
Oh, there he is, okay. And then after, come on, Mike.
Oh, good, it came up.
What's that?
And Michael, you're here in your capacity.
I'm good.
Yeah, Michael Mills is gonna present his report from the Historic Commission, and then after that, you'll have the ability to ask the architect any question related to his testimony.
Do I need to be sworn first?
Yes, you do.
Good.
You swear to affirm tell the truth?
I swear I will do so.
Thank you.
So Michael, you have to speak up because the people in the back need to be able to hear you too.
Okay, for my back turn. Anyway, I'm speaking for the Historic Preservation Commission. We have two members that live within 150 feet of the development, and they are unable to participate in this discussion or in this meeting. So I'm serving as chair, interim chair, and representing the other members who, two of which are here, Barbara Reeder, Mark Dolan, and Eric Hendrickson. Anyway, I thought I would start off by making a few positive comments about Jeffrey Albert and his design team. They were very professional and pleasant to deal with. They never took offense to any negative comments they heard from us. They were collaborative and they were thoughtful. And we had a lively dialogue in our meetings. Can you hear? In the back? Okay. We had 3 meetings. They responded favorably to most comments in their revised drawings, which you now have, and also in writing, in email. They always explained why, if they didn't agree with something, and gave us the basis for it. These are usually minor points. And we all agreed that the development looked improved after the revisions based on the HPC review comments. Also like to make a couple of positive comments about the overall design. We thought that the proposal was a very intelligent way to accommodate the permitted residential density on this former industrial site. The street fronts, they proposed 2.5-story townhouses, which basically reflect what's across the street on Hamilton and on Lafayette. They reflect the scale, the style, and the setbacks of the existing streets. The larger 4-story block is set back along Railroad Place in an industrial context and behind a tree line and on the stream on the east end of the property. So these are really treated as background buildings with less impact on the immediate neighborhood and Hopewell Borough. The next slide, please. So the location is not within the Hopewell Historic District. It is on the border of it, and it's in the buffer zone. The HPC purview, I thought it'd be important to state for the record. Our purview would include architectural design and design details, relationship of the construction to the neighborhood and relation to Hopewell. But not included are the size of the development, the density of the development, its floor plans, traffic, site design, parking, lighting, utilities. Color, we're not supposed to comment on, although we do. And there's a ton of environmental issues on this site, which Jeffrey, I'm sure, will be speaking about. Next, please.
Mike, before you go on, just so the record's clear, we'll introduce this as Board Exhibit B1.
All right.
And this is a short presentation. How many slides?
Oh, I don't know, about 10 or 12.
12 slides that you put together to aid in your
Presentation.
Okay.
Right. So the first thing we talked to their team about was characteristic elements in Hopewell Borough. And it's a small town. It has a grid street pattern with curbs and sidewalks, traditional building designs, It has a defined edge and it's compact. It's a mix of primarily single-family homes and two-family houses and apartments. Shops are dispersed throughout the borough. And there's been a tradition of adaptive use of older structures. Next, please. So these are the types of buildings that are typical of the borough. Hopewell has been described as a town of front porches. And almost on all streets, there are some sort of gesture to the street with a front porch over the front door. Even in the bungalows, there's some small gesture of a porch. In Hopewell, they tend to be sitting porches. People sit on the porch and watch the world go by, drinking a cup of coffee or doing what they're doing. And anyway, that's part of the design character. And you see that on Lafayette, and you see it on Hamilton. Next, please. As for multifamily, some of them are purpose-built. Some of them are adaptive uses of older buildings. For example, number 4 on Railroad Place, we think that was a former railroad station for the Mercer and Somerset line that was converted to a house later. Number 2 is immediately across the street from this proposed development. And we talk about that a lot in terms of porches. Next. And this is the industrial context for light industrial that was referred to earlier, the chocolate factory. Actually, the building in the upper right was a former school on Model Avenue. And then there's a multifamily on Broad Street on the corner of Broad and Hopewell that's rather grand. And so there's all these different types of multifamily situations. Next, please. So this shows the site in relation to the Hopewell Historic District, which is in blue, and the site is in orange. And you see it's in the buffer zone, which is on the edge of the historic district. Our purview as historic preservation is to discuss general design characteristics of new buildings in the buffer zone. And so our purview is somewhat limited. And I thought it was important to make that point. Next. We looked at row housing because at one point the houses were not split up the way they are now. The one example on the left there is Robley, which is a historic National Register historic district. The one on the upper right is in Princeton on Harrison Street. And I believe the one on the lower right is in Cambridge. But, you know, you see a lot of brick, you see a lot of individual units. And again, 2.5 stories is the predominant theme. Next. And we also looked at apartment buildings for precedence, for context. And many of them in urban areas and villages are brick. So here's a couple of 4-story brick apartment buildings. I think the one on the upper right is being built right now next to the Princeton Shopping Center. So you can see that. So that gives a sense of the scale of things. Next, please. So on the townhouses, we worked with Jeffrey and his team to break up the continuous facades into shorter units for scale. Eliminated second floor balconies on the street. Provided some rear entries on the interior facade. We suggested using single dormers rather than sheds on the front, although we sort of compromised on that. And we ended up with single windows in a few shed dormers, but not many. And there are shed dormers further down the street that are existing on Lafayette. We asked that he reduce the number of triple windows and he took them out basically completely on the front, on the street sides. There are a few still left on the interior elevations, and those can't be seen from the street, and we were fine with that. We suggested mirroring the townhouse facades to make a symmetrical design around the center. They felt that the irregular the townhouse layout was more appropriate, and we ended up compromising on that and agreeing that that would be fine. We asked for a special detail at the end units, and they have provided a large cross gable dormer. The key thing we think were the porches. Initially, they came in with single porch roofs over the front entry doors. We suggested a continuous porch roof at the doors to bring the units together and to allow a place to sit. And we also asked that they be made wider, again, to reflect what's across the street. And they did that. There were no comments on the rear facades, which did not face the street. We felt what they had was fine on drawings, and we didn't ask for any change. Next. On the apartment building, you haven't seen the earlier designs, but the team was treating this as sort of an industrial building that was converted to housing. And in that regard, they suggested a sawtooth roof on Railroad Place, which usually those sawtooth roofs have skylights behind them and ventilation. But there was nothing behind these. It was just a parapet. It was a thin parapet, which you'd see if you were on Railroad Place on an oblique. You would see that it's basically a Western stage set, kind of thing. So we suggested getting rid of it. It was really serving no purpose because their cornice was high enough. And basically it would reduce the height, the perceived height of the building by one full story. So we thought that was a good thing because we knew there'd be concern about the height of the apartment building. We also suggested creating a stronger base, either by using all brick on the first floor or adding a stronger horizontal line above the first floor. They couldn't do brick over the entire building, but they, as you saw from the renderings, they did brick at all the entrance points of the building, ground to roof, which we thought was a very good concession and broke the building up in a better way. And they did add a continuous line in metal at the, like a fascia at the first floor level, which gives a more horizontal appearance and brings the scale down somewhat. We had no comments on the elevations facing the parking lot or the street, other than the general comments noted above. Next, please. Early on, I gather the clubhouse was closer to the corner. We suggested moving it away to make it less prominent, which they did. There were no comments on the clubhouse design, which is actually not visible now from the street. And we suggested a paved public space with trees and benches at the corner of Lafayette and Hamilton, which I think Jeffrey's about to present. So that's about it. Is there another slide?
That's it.
That's it? Okay. There are no variances being sought in this application of which we are aware. With the recommendations and conditions that we've already made a matter of record and that Jeffrey has incorporated into the design, the HPC recommends approval and the issuance of a certificate of appropriateness for this project. And in conclusion, we would be delighted to have this deteriorated building which is on the site and has become an eyesore and an environmental and safety hazard, replaced with appropriate residential development that will support Hopewell Borough in the neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Do you have any questions from Michael?
Or the architect, since we're
Well,
together.
Jeff,
I think for the board.
yeah, no, I thought that Jeffrey could present that. You want to present that little piece, or were you gonna do that
I
later?
was gonna do it later, but I think.
That's fine.
I can't do it now.
I think it probably makes sense to do it now.
Yeah, let's do it.
I'll do it now.
Okay, that's fine. We can, yeah.
You were previously sworn in and
Yes.
you remain under oath.
So I know a lot of people were really in favor of the other sign. No, I'm kidding. We heard loud and clear that it was an inappropriate use of that space. We had designed a seat wall that also acted as a sign. It was not successful. And so we redesigned this to be a corner entry plaza or park. So now it features landscaping. There are turfed areas. There are, there are trees and landscaping. There are benches. There's a sidewalk that connects to the existing and will create a new crosswalk. It is a much softer, gentler, landscape-friendly entrance to the entire community. We think this is far better. We do have a small monument sign. It was actually part of the redevelopment, in the redevelopment plan. It's on the lower line. Yeah, it's number 2. It's a small inobtrusive sign, we'll landscape around it. Just to sort of announce that, you've arrived. But otherwise, this is really intended to be to embrace the community in a much stronger and more successful way than the former proposed seawall. So
let's just, so we can mark this into evidence, that's A 30.
yes,
We kind of skipped from A 25 was the last one that we did.
Yeah, we're out of order because we thought he was going at the
Oh,
end.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, you know what, because it's on it, we'll mark it as A 30, but I'll make note that it was, yeah.
we had intended to present this a little later,
Gotcha.
so that's why the numbering is off, but be happy to answer questions about it, but we're excited about this. We think it's a far better use of that space, and we hope it meets with your approval.
Jeffrey, could you just go down there's numbers on this plan?
Oh,
that
sure.
Correlate with the key, can you just kind of identify what those are?
So there's the number 1 is a paved area, excuse me. Let me, I can refer to mine. Oh, there, thanks. I couldn't see it. The number 1 is a paved area. It's a smaller, come out for a second. It's the area in front where they're surrounded by benches that are themselves shaded and surrounded by landscaping. Number 2 is the monument sign, that small sign in the front. Number 3 are lawn paneled areas, and they can be for sitting or just greenery. They are on both sides of that entrance that way. The next number, I believe, are sorry? Yeah, they're planting beds, low level material that are meant to complement the taller shrubberies and trees that'll surround the lawn panels and the other areas. Concrete walk. Five is a concrete walk, which is pretty obvious, and 6 is utility access. At the end of the townhouse buildings, there are utilities that are enclosed within the end of those townhouses. So there needs to be access to those. We can't landscape completely to obscure them. So they do need some access. So We've showed that. But that's really de-emphasized by the landscaping that surrounds it.
Great, thank you. Okay, Lou, you had questions?
Yeah, I had a question for the architect.
Oh.
Michael mentioned, actually, you started and we asked you about the height. Is the base the same for all the buildings? So is it at the same level? So you're talking
No,
about
the elevation.
49 feet above ground, but is the ground higher at in the back?
The elevation changes and the roof height is based on an average where grade and roof occur around it. We followed the letter of zoning on establishing the height of the roof.
I don't think that's what he's asking. I think probably what he's asking is what's the level of the base of the townhouses compared to the base of the apartment building? So is the apartment building on higher ground or lower ground? Is that what you were getting at?
Correct.
Yeah.
Mike, yeah, Paul from the back. Paul, if you remember, if the grade elevation of the townhouses is higher or lower than, I mean, it changes. You really need to look at a site plan.
It is very close to site again and then condition.
Yeah, if we can see it, that's a topographical site plan, I could better explain it.
Well, you're gonna.
I think maybe-
Come up here.
Maybe to simplify it, just like the
Yeah, average.
average
Yeah,
as it goes
In
through.
general.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the site slopes around the L-shaped floor plan of the four-story apartment building. It changes from like a high point on the east to a low point on the west. That sound right?
I just want to make sure we're all looking at the same place for consistency here.
We're talking about grade elevation is the highest on the site is over here.
Actually highest on.
Can you identify yourself?
Oh, I'm sorry, Paul was the Patrolman Consulting previously sworn in at our last here. I couldn't see everyone tonight.
Yeah,
Speak up, Paul.
I think Young's really just looking for like, where's the high point in the site and where's the low point and what are the buildings on each of those? Is that correct?
Okay, so the high point is at the intersection of Hamilton Street, Railroad Place, and Somerset Street. So the low point is down here then?
Yeah.
The low point would be along Lafayette Street at the curb cut on the far eastern portion of the site.
So that's the lower, that'll be lower than
Doesn't slope that much, so right, I think that.
The total grade change from high to low is 176 to 170.
Oof, nothing, okay.
Yeah, 6 feet over that distance, you want, it's like a pancake.
Yeah, okay, good, thank you, that answers the question.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Questions from up here?
I just have a question, and it's about color, but it's really just more of a clarification. The brick that you were showing, which I know Historic Preservation thinks is a great change, is that brick colored brick?
It's a terracotta brick. These are LED pictures that have been shared.
Right, I know, that's why I'm concerned, because it looks.
Yeah, it looks really bright orange. It's not meant to be that.
It's a brick colored brick, would you describe it?
Yes,
Yes.
yeah, it's a terracotta red brick. Like somebody's sweater, they could best describe it. Yeah, more like your Borough seal.
Okay, yeah, good.
Thank you. I do have a question about the porches. Do you have an estimate of square footage per townhouse of the porches?
No, off the top of my head, I'd say we're looking at 15 to 20 feet per porch.
Sufficient for people to sit on? Yeah, that's what I'm, can you pull it?
Yeah, Micah, can you pull up the floor plan for the townhouse, please?
Like, I don't see, it's a 2-foot recess, correct?
The building undulates by 2 feet.
By 2 feet,
Yes.
and then there's,
And the porch projects beyond that.
right, I don't.
Can we zoom that?
Yeah, I'm just hoping there's enough room to chairs and interact with neighborhood.
There is between doors, yes.
So that distance,
Each door is 3 feet, so each one of those
yes,
90-degree swings that you see on an entrance door is a 3-foot wide opening, to give you a sense of scale.
and so it's not, it looks like it's less than 3 feet. For
Well, this distance right here would be somewhere in the neighborhood of
It's-
5.
I can,
Yeah. This distance right here
yeah,
is about 5 to 6 feet. This
Oh.
distance right here
Yep.
across the entrance is about 6, 2, 3, 6, 9, 9.5 feet left to right
okay.
from door to door, and then you have this.
Yeah,
large-
that's the area that I'm looking at. So
Yeah.
the width of that is about 4.
The width of this is again about 9 to 10 feet. Yeah, see about 9 to 10 feet with,
The depth,
the depth is about 5 to 6 feet, somewhere in there.
5, 9, okay. The chairs.
A typical balcony on an apartment is gonna be 5 feet deep.
Okay,
So the balconies up on our 4-story are 5 feet deep
That
from
was-
the rail to the,
okay, that was my next one.
headed that one up.
All right. Yeah.
Thanks.
Questions?
No.
All right. Well, Christopher?
Oh, yes, just to clarify again, this is for questions, not your statements or your cases, which will come later in the procedure. So, yes, Mr. Chair, you can open it up to the public.
Aye.
When you come up, we'll ask you your name, we'll ask you to spell it, your last name and your address, and then we'll have you sworn in. And then you're welcome to ask.
Christopher, do we do address? I don't think we do
Oh,
address.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
Last time you just called on people, or do you want us to line up?
I think it's probably other way, I'll call on people if it looks like that's not working, I'll ask you to line up. I think that'd be easier. So again, these are questions for the architect, Mr. Albert, or for Michael Mills from Historic, Preservation. So with that, I will open the floor and I'll start in the center in the back. She didn't get a seat, so she gets to go first.
Hi, Marion Davis, 10 Mile Avenue,
And swear affirm to tell the truth.
absolutely.
And can you spell your last name for the record?
Labos.
You're on.
Okay. So from the renderings we just saw of the apartment building, looks like there's a fair amount of glass involved. The windows look like they comprise a large amount of the side. The reason why I'm asking this is, I'm sure you realize that we are nearby the Sourlands, and the Sourlands are the largest contiguous forest in central New Jersey, which means it's homes to birds. Birds like to hit glass windows and they die. If you go into areas where there are I guess where I'm going with this is, what can we do, or what will you do to make sure that this does not become a place for bird fatality? It usually involves putting some sort of etching on the windows so the birds don't get confused and think that they're seeing the sky. A lot of architects don't like doing that because it obscures the beauty of their building.
You wanna weigh in on this?
No. No. I honestly don't have an answer. I mean, we can look into that. I think it's a fair comment. I just don't know what techniques there are.
Yeah, it's usually etching and something.
I understand. I mean, we've done, in other contexts, we've done etching. But again, this is someone's view and living.
Yeah.
So, but we will look into it. I just don't.
They will be horrified by the birds when they go out in the
I
morning
just
for their
don't know.
job.
I just don't have an answer. So-
Fair enough. How will you get back to us so that I can find out the answer?
We're not gonna finish this hearing tonight,
Fair enough.
and so there will be
Just circle
time
back.
for them to circle back, yes.
Okay,
Yep.
appreciate it. We'll take it as an action. And it being a 4-story building, it's one of the larger buildings in the immediate area. Has there been a shade study performed, or will there be a shade study performed so the neighborhood can see where if they will be suddenly eclipsed during certain seasons? For instance, I'm next to that lovely old school building on Model Avenue. And in the winter, even though it's only 2.5-ish stories high, I actually get no sun for like 4 hours throughout, more than 4 hours. I get like a window between like 9 and 10, and then a window between like right before sunset. And otherwise, shade the entire time.
Well, to answer your question, I don't believe that our development is going to be shading any of the homes surrounding this. And we have homes only on two sides,
Okay.
on Lafayette and Hamilton. And the way we're stepping back across the street from 2.5 stories into an open space and then up to 4-story, I don't believe you're going to see any of what you're describing on Lafayette or Hamilton.
Okay, so what about the houses that are in back there?
We're very far away from it down the street.
Okay. Then this one theoretically should be an easier one. I'm gonna take that, landscape architecture can also be discussed within this architecture period. Yeah. Okay, are you familiar with green mulch?
Yes.
Okay, I would greatly appreciate if you consider using green mulch, such as sedges,
Yeah.
ferns, and.
Questions, please.
Okay, can you use green mulch instead of regular mulch? Okay, it will greatly improve your water infiltration.
So he said yes, so maybe we can move on.
That would be it. I wasn't sure, I'm sorry.
We will consider it, absolutely.
Consider it. Okay. I'll follow up. Thank you.
You're welcome. I should also mention that the Shade Tree Commission has reviewed this application and the landscape plan, and they were very pleased with it. They found that the plantings were native plantings and were appropriate for the site. So just so you know, we did have that.
I just have a point of information. Sorry. This is not a question for testimony. I just want to understand the process as far as when questions are asked and representations are made as to considerations, how is that being documented and who has the onus for follow-up? Meaning, is anyone on the planning board or any of the professionals here keeping a running list as to what has been asked of the architect has agreed to undertake and consider for follow-up? Or is that upon the individual questioner to then come back and follow up with the applicant?
Well, I think, folks, please. We are recording it, so everything's documented.
Okay.
Right, so we've got that. And we will do our best to follow up with the questions. If it's that important to you, you do need to come back and make sure that we circle back to it. All right,
Okay.
We will do our best
Okay.
to do that.
Okay, so just so I understand, so I appreciate that. So you're gonna do your best, but we shouldn't rely on that.
That's right. If I assume most people are gonna be back for the rest of the testimony, and
Okay.
so if we don't get to it, I'm sure we'll be reminded that we didn't get to it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Can I just add for people who have been here before, that if it's something that they have agreed to and that we have said is going to be required of them, Christopher notes that, and that's in our resolution.
Becomes a condition of the
Becomes a
resolution
condition.
and a requirement for them in order to pull any permits.
Right.
I'm sorry, we're just having
Oh,
trouble. Can you just
I'm sorry.
restate what you said?
Yes.
Then Chris restate.
So for things for which we have stated to the applicant has agreed to, our attorney notes those and they become part of the resolution. It's a condition of their approval. They will, when we adopt the resolution, it's all listed in there and he will read through each and every one of those.
But for the items that they said they'll look into, we will do our best to follow up on those. But again, you should, come and make sure we've handled your point. I'm sorry, did you have something?
It's also published in the minutes.
Yeah. Published in the minutes as well. I see a hand back here.
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Rosemary Williams. I swear the testimony I'm about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth. Okay, my question is, I thought, I heard, the historical committee say that, the setbacks matched what's on Lafayette and especially Lafayette Street. Aren't the setbacks only 10 feet in the front? Who's asking that? Yeah, no,
The historical person, is that who you're asking the question?
I'm asking it
It's
of anybody
probably
that
better
knows
for
the answer, you should
the
know. what the
applicant to comment on what the setback is. And you could say what the standard is and what the setback is.
I think it's best if we ask Paul.
You're similar.
Yeah.
Sure.
They're asking about setback requirements on Lafayette and Hamilton Street.
I'm asking about your setback.
I can confirm that one moment.
Okay.
So I could just say from the ordinance perspective, and before you talk about it, minimum building setbacks, we require 10 feet from front yard, 15 feet from side or rear yard, and building to building 15 feet. And there's an asterisk that says covered porches shall be permitted within 10 feet of a building or property line.
And you do comply with that standard, we meet the 10-foot setback requirement of the zone.
Could I make an additional comment? Unlike some of the housing on Lafayette and Hamilton, we don't have driveways. We don't have cars parked in the front of the homes. So the setbacks, all of our parking is in the rear of those buildings. So the setback is actually less, and that's one of the reasons.
My understanding is that there's parking spaces that are going to be in front of all the townhouses.
Parallel spaces, I'm talking about
Okay,
spaces that are head in. And, you know, if you're on a home on Lafayette Street that has a driveway, that driveway needs a certain amount of space to accommodate the car. We don't have that kind of condition.
I understand that. My only question is, the historical committee said that, the setbacks were consistent with what's on Lafayette. I built a house on Lafayette, as did others, and our setbacks are 15 to 20 feet, so it's not gonna look like the setbacks on Lafayette.
We're
Oh,
questions over,
sorry,
right?
it's hard
Yeah.
for me.
That. Rick.
Thank you. Richard Friedman out of Elm Street. Maybe I'm sworn in because I was sworn in last time. Sure, I have a question for the architect. Yeah, I think you said that the.
Rick, could you speak up? I know they can hear you now, but we can't.
Sure, I think you said that the townhouses would be roughly 2.5 stories. And the apartment building would be 4 stories.
Sure.
And I think you also said that if you were on Lafayette Street, you wouldn't be able to see the apartment building because the townhouses would block it out.
Yes, that's right.
Can you tell me how 2.5 stories would block out 4 stories?
Well, it's a simple matter of geometry. If you were to project lines from 6 feet above or 5 feet above the sidewalk on the opposite side of the street and project it up past the ridge line of the 2.5-story building, the 4-story building set back several hundred feet are not going to reach that sight line.
Well, let's say Ms. Williams, who lives across the street, she were to move back from her driveway to the front of her house, and you tell me she wouldn't be able to see the apartment building?
Yes.
Can you tell me at what point you would be able to see?
No, I can't.
But your testimony is that you couldn't see the apartment buildings from Lafayette Street.
Be largely obscured, I think is the right answer.
Or do you- I don't think that's what it said. You make for yourself. I don't think that's exactly. Yeah, I don't think.
Question?
Yeah, so your testimony is that you couldn't see the apartment building.
In my opinion, you will not see the apartment building.
Okay.
That's the key there.
Rebecca Hovey, Hovey, smack dab across the street from this development. So
Have you been sworn in?
No. I'm gonna tell the truth. I mean, I'm asking questions, so I'm not giving testimony, but in any event, I do want to say that I'm coming at this with the vein of cooperation, because I see from other testimony that you guys are cooperating and want to work with people in the community. So that's really my questions are. You had testified that you based your design off of these few buildings in the very back of our borough, the industrial, near the tomato factory, the chocolate works, whatever. Did you spend time looking at the rest of our borough?
Yes, we did actually.
So those buildings are 5 buildings within a borough that has much different buildings than those industrial buildings, correct? When you spent time in our community, can you tell me 3 words that come to mind that you would use to describe Hopewell?
I think we're getting a little off track here.
I understand. I'm a trial attorney.
It's not a question about his testimony.
Well, when you ask questions, you can ask little questions that get to a point.
This isn't a trial.
Okay, well, I mean, you're calling a testimony, we're swearing in, but, semantics. Are you aware in your larger building, it has a flat roof? Are you aware that this community had been told by, the borough committee and several members on the committee that we would not have a building with a flat roof? Were you made aware of that?
No.
That we were told that there would be.
I'm sorry, but we don't have any. Are you talking about the town council?
Yes, I'm talking
We
about
have-
what was represented, that whatever building.
Yeah, and you
would be
need to
flat.
talk to council about that,
Okay.
because the
Well, I asked
council's
it-
the one that approved that building.
Okay, my question was he aware?
No.
And he answered it.
Okay,
Okay, and your building has a flat roof. In the vein of cooperation, obviously, and I'm not against the community. I think the townhouses, although the color really doesn't go with our town.
We don't think that's the color, it's a brick color.
The townhouses aren't brick color. They're sage and there's no
okay.
brick. I was talking about the townhouses. Obviously a lot of, and I don't mean any disrespect. A lot of us are very upset with the design that is presented
but
from the
question,
building.
question, please.
I'm getting to the question. Would you be willing to listen and meet with members of the community? And I understand that the Historical Society did, to talk about our concerns about the design of this building that is going to be the biggest building in this town. The biggest building square footage and the highest building. Maybe take into consideration changing some of the design that meets your needs and also meets our needs.
Still a question.
It's not a question.
No, it's not a question about testimony.
It is.
It's not a question about his testimony. I'm happy to entertain that, but when we do the other stuff later on.
When we open it up to the public where you can make your case, you could make your arguments and then ask questions.
Are they gonna be here to ask questions?
They will be here.
Okay, that's fine.
This
I
is
thought it
just,
was,
this is really just informational purposes, so they testify and then you say, well, how large is that? You
yes,
know,
there was a
the
question
sign.
about whether they would consider mulch, which was not testified to. I'm asking. if
Listen, I'm
you
trying to
would
give people a
consider-
little bit of leeway here,
I understand.
all right? So I'm not cutting people off right away. So a little bit of leeway, we're not gonna get into what I want and what I don't want. It's questions about
I
the
wasn't,
testimony.
yeah, I wasn't asking that. The testimony was about the design. My question is would they consider changing some of the design?
Okay, your question's asked. I don't think they need to
But I didn't
answer.
get an
it.
answer.
No, I don't think they need to answer that. They can answer it later on when you come back and we have.
Why are you here today then?
If they can't answer questions, what are we doing?
Listen, folks, you wanna ask a question, you come forward.
I did. I asked a question.
I'm not talking to you right now. I'm talking to the people out in the audience. Christopher, can you give me a hand here?
So let me just take a step back. We're here to look at, the board's jurisdiction is limited. We're looking at a site plan. And what we are looking at is an ordinance that was adopted. and is in place. So our evaluation is to look at that ordinance and determine whether or not the applicant has met the standards under the site plan and zoning ordinance. And if they haven't, we identify a variance or waiver, and then they have the burden of proof to overcome the standards or the burdens for that either design waiver or variance. So far, we don't have any design waiver or variances. So we're focusing on the issues where we have the ability to kind of make some changes or to understand whether or not they meet the requirements. Like when we're talking about height, what's the height? Do they meet the height? You know, are there ways that we can make like tweaks to it to address some impacts to the community? That's the stuff that we're kind of focused on. And you know, a broad question.
But you're not, but it's this committee that approves what the plan looks like. It's not, it's not the town, it's not.
It's to the extent that it's in the ordinance, we can review it and determine whether or not, like, under architectural section, I could tell you, we talk about, we have the ability to make sure the length of the building is not exceed 225 feet. There's some requirements of variation, you know, in design elements that reduce and separate the building mass, which we've talked about.
So aesthetically, we have no say over whatever they build, whether it's ugly or not.
It's like your own house. You could paint your house your color and.
Well, actually, I couldn't because I'm across the street in the historical society, in the historical district.
Yeah,
They had to tell me everything I
But
could do.
the issue is not the color, it's what is in the ordinance. And that's what the board is empowered to review and address.
Okay, then I'll come back and ask questions because I'm really coming from a
If you
place
have-
that I want to cooperate.
Yeah, if you have a specific question about design, rather than just say like, what do you think about changing design? If you have like something like, can you move, you know, make the, you know, take out the sign, which we talked about last time. We had a sign that was a seating element and someone said, we don't like that. Can you address it? That the applicant can respond to and.
Here, but and then in another, you're saying there's gonna be another
You can
meeting.
raise all your concerns, but yeah, exactly.
Okay, well, you guys should be more clear about
Yeah.
what questions can be asked at what time.
David.
So thank you for taking questions about the lighting. It's not on the top of everybody's list, but it's near the top of mine. To ask these questions, I had to do some work and for my request to you, I wrote a report. I printed it in triplicate. My printer's terrible, so I apologize for that. But I'd like to present these
So,
along with questions.
that's gonna happen during the public comment period when you're able to come up or provide testimony and marking your.
I totally understand it, but that puts you at a disadvantage because if you could read them, you would understand where the questions are coming from. That's all. I would love to hand you these.
It's really not, I mean,
Okay.
we typically open it up at the end. If
Right.
you wanna have public comment, I mean.
I don't.
Yeah.
No,
Okay.
no, that's gonna.
So we can either go through all the testimony and then, you know, then you can address everything under the sun in the end. Or we could try to open up for just some informational questions
Look.
so that you could build whatever arguments or whatever you wanna say
Look,
later.
I think, you know, David and I have discussed this, and David, I think that, I mean, I appreciate the report and you can give us that report, but I think when we get to the part where you can make comments, that you need to succinctly talk about what you're wanting in the front of the report,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
So like a 5-minute statement of, this is what I'd like to see, and there's a perfectly appropriate place for that,
I get it.
right?
Totally get it. In
Okay.
fact, the report starts out with instructions on how to read this in 5 minutes.
Well, exactly, which is one of the reasons why I don't want you to do it now, because it's a
You know what?
long.
we're gonna drop down. By the way,
Okay.
anyone who wants to report, I'll give.
Yeah,
I have a question about, I wanna read the report.
And when it becomes part of the record, we're not just opening up all the arguments in the center.
No.
If we're gonna do that, let's let the applicant complete their case.
Yeah.
Right.
And then you could have the
But I
reports,
just wanna
evidence.
make sure that we all have time, for whatever report, whatever people wanna say, that we have time to digest it and respond intelligently about what people are saying.
And we will mark it, and the applicant will have an opportunity to ask about it, to make sure. Because the question also is with the report, is it a professional report, or is it opinion that he's gonna state about and talk about as part of the record? Which is much different, so you
No,
either.
I understand
Yeah,
that. I just like information and opinions coming in. I'm that kind of person.
Yeah, we just have to make sure it's all part of a clean record, so it has to come in, it has to get marked, the
And we will
applicant
have
has the
time to
ability
digest
Yes.
these things.
And also, thank you for explaining that. I totally get it. I'm gonna say one sentence, 4 questions, and sit down. The one sentence is, anyone who wants to see the report, talk to me, I'll just email it. Okay, question number 1. On what basis did you decide to set the average horizontal illuminance, that's brightness, of the courtyard to 5 times brighter than is recommended by the IES standards for apartment atria and parking lot?
Do you have an expert that can answer those questions?
Mr. Winford's probably
Yeah.
closest you got.
Yeah.
I should give him a seat up front.
So. This is in between the L shapes and the townhouses. The average on your plan are 5x the normal book candles, that IES recommends. Why so bright?
The brightness and the illumination were set based upon what's appropriate for pedestrian areas. On prior testimony I've given to the board, we were happy to go back and review some of the light levels and minimize them where we can, while still providing, at minimum, we have to provide a safe light level in pedestrian areas.
Right.
And we can certainly revisit that, and of course.
Clarify one thing about the condition though, that you did previously agree that it would be dark sky compliant.
I can answer that. We have gone back and looked, we said we were close.
Yes,
We've now established that we're gonna be dark sky
and that's
compliant
gonna be one
throughout,
of the conditions.
in every area of the site.
Has no.
But
I'm answering your question.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So. It's 5x the safe light. Question number 2, very similar question.
This is,
On what basis did you decide to set the average horizontal illuminance of the parking lot across Somerset Street to 4 times the safe level recommended by the IES standard for low usage parking lots?
That's another one we'd be happy to revisit and ensure that we have the correct standard. I don't have the calculation in front of me for basic right now.
RP 43, RP 20.
Would you work with him directly?
yes, I'm
Okay, all
happy
right,
to do
okay.
that.
Dan, let's do that. They can come back with new lighting numbers and you'll have the new lighting. numbers.
Let me read 2 more questions real quick, and I won't even ask for it. Just real quick, okay? How can you justify 3,000 Kelvin outdoor lighting when all?
David.
Everything is available at lower.
Can we leave a copy, can we leave a copy of the report?
Yeah, this is yours.
Now, the question.
All right, good.
It makes sense if you want him to respond to you.
Love that.
Well, then let's have.
Okay, good. Not yet. We don't get it, so
We
we
can't
put
get
the record.
until.
Yeah.
He's got.
But giving anything that you prepared to the applicant gives the ability of the applicant to take a look at it, respond, and have more meaningful dialogue. So it's good that you gave it to him, and he'll be able to read it before the next meeting.
That is record? Do you have an asset?
I didn't hear those 2 questions in the back.
I couldn't say them.
No.
Question, we'd like to say it on the record.
Whoa. Somebody stand up and come forward and ask that question.
As a de facto procedural question asker, the question we are asking is, can, for the purposes of the record, since this is a public hearing, let him ask the question so there's a recording of it, notwithstanding the fact that there will be a side conversation between the applicant and the questioner.
We will let him ask those questions at the end of the process because I think it'll make more sense, because then the applicant can respond and say, yes, we're willing to do that. Or no, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not,
Procedural.
I was just
Procedural.
procedurally saying what
Yes.
the objection was and what we were asking for because it's a public hearing.
Thank you. Yes. Over here. Gentleman with the mustache. You, yeah.
James Higgins, 32 Cook Place.
Can you spell your last name?
Higgins. So, in your expert opinion, putting 120 units on a 4-story building, 220 feet long, 55 feet wide, and an L-shaped with 42 2.5-story stacked units with a community center and parking common for a space of 3.35 acres of land.
Okay, so this is a question for council. Council has
No, the
already.
question is to him. I asked him.
It's
No,
already
one
been
second.
approved.
I asked if it was, I didn't ask about it being approved. I'm asking, is it common? You can let us ask questions or not.
I will ask.
Alright, just to see if he has a comment.
Yeah, it's a yes or no question.
Get on with it.
Well, first of all, it's 120 units in total. It's 78 units in the 4-story, it's in 42 units in the 4 adjacent townhouses. That's the total number of units is 120. Do I think it's common for this density in an apartment complex? Yes.
So you say more than 50% of the time you've seen this.
That wasn't the question.
That was
That's right, I'm asking another question. Yeah, that works. I asked the second question. The question is it common? You said yes, I'm asking, is it more than 50% of the time?
I can't answer that.
Thank you. In your pictures, in the diagrams, I didn't see anything in the parking lots. There was, so the diagrams didn't show any, so the architectural, the land. Is there anything you can say as how the center of the property looks with the parking?
We doing that in traffic?
This was testified to as part of the site
Oh,
plan.
previously.
So I asked if they had the pictures, since they showed us other diagrams of the building, do they have pictures?
Not for the architect, but
Thank you.
testified to.
In A130, the size and scale of the grassed area that you've created doesn't give any measurements. I don't know how big is it, 10 feet or 50 feet? How big is the grassy area that you've taken a look at?
I'll get dimensions for you.
I understand that you spoke with the council, and I know that you've spoken with the historical group. Did you speak with any of the members in the community within the 200 feet on Lafayette or Somerset, or Summer or Hamilton, that live on that property and engage them with any questions about this project?
As part of to the extent they were part of committees and subcommittees, yes. I'm not just sure what if that's architectural testimony.
Well, it is because you had both the historical society come up here and you talked about the representation of what it looks like in the building. So I'm asking the people in the community if you spoke with them. That's all.
If you're asking the people in the community, that's not a question to me.
Well, you answered it anyway, so it's all good. Can you identify the specific architectural features of this project that were intentionally designed to reflect the historical character of the borough?
Yeah, I think I did that. I tried to explain that the small condensed light industrial warehouse neighborhood portion of adjacent to the site led to decision-making that we use for the larger scale 4-story building for the apartment complex.
So people don't live in industrial buildings, they live in houses.
Melissa Cookman again, I hope you understand everybody's frustration and how hard it is for us, but I appreciate your listening and trying to keep us going. Several times it's been referred to being on Railroad Place. It is not on Railroad Place. It is on Somerset Street. It's a different street. Light industrial is not the tomato factory. That is a retail building with so many, yes, it was. Jeffrey,
Question?
right, but it isn't. Well, he just interrupted me and I was responding to it. Can't stop. I'm frustrated by that as somebody who owns, a building on Somerset Street that's directly affected by this. And is it possible, can we see, I see all the, images, but I never see it from like Somerset Street, what it's going to look like, for instance, from my building across the street on Somerset, what I'm going to see, where I'm going to see the apartments. I can't seem to get a visual in my head of, it's all back there, but I don't know what it's facing. Is there a rendering of that? So I can see what it looks like against the screen and Lafayette, because Lafayette will see the apartments, the apartments.
I don't know, do we have a rendering of that from Somerset to where the properties?
I don't know that we have it today, but we can provide it.
Okay.
That would be good, because I have no idea what it's going to be like, and since it's gonna be a comment, and I'm not gonna.
Yes, yeah, we'll get it.
My last question is actually, if the meeting ends at 10 o'clock, will there be no opportunity for the people to offer their comments afterwards? Right? Or will that have to be to the very end after we've done all of these things?
It will have to be at the very end, years from now. Yes, yes, yes. I want all the testimony to be out there before.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you.
I'm Susan Flora. I live in the Borough.
You swear for a tell?
Yes, and I think I was sworn in last time.
Okay, can you spell your last name just?
Pollara. And so I do want to thank everyone. Like, this is like intense. Everybody cares so much about Hopewell. We're just trying to like get information and ask smart questions. So can you, who is controlling the slide? Yeah, can you put up the townhouses? Because I am trying so hard to stay on top of this. And I feel like every time I go to our website, it's a different image of the townhouses. So what was published on our website yesterday looked very different, I believe, than what's now here. So one question I have is like, when are you all, like, are you just seeing this now for the first time?
Yeah, I've never seen.
Because this is totally different.
It's the same.
It's actually not, because if you go to the Hopewell Borough website and click to find all the planning redevelopment, that is not what is being presented.
It's probably it's probably the same material. Follow me. This is a finer rendering, more higher resolution. The other one that was published, which we were asked to do last time, to put them up right away, it's just is more of an outline, but the architecture is the same. It's identical.
Yeah,
it comes from the exact same place.
Okay, so I'm sharing with you that our borough published
This is what you need to
yesterday,
rely on.
not this.
This is what we're presenting.
Okay,
This
so
is the
my
application.
question is to the planning board, is this the first time you're seeing this? And Brad is saying yes. So I'm just not sure.
That's normal.
Okay, so I'm just not sure what the process is. I didn't know if the process was you all get it a little bit before, so you have a chance to review and study it, or if you're like, surprise, now it looks like something else.
This is the first time that we've seen this detail.
Okay.
Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, it is, because I'm trying to like do my best to be educated, so I don't understand the process of if you're expected to be seeing this for the first time and be asking your smart questions and understanding your concerns about it. Like, I didn't understand that you're not seeing this 24 hours before, 48 hours before.
We rely very heavily on the Historic Preservation Commission. They're architects. So, 9 times out of 10, we agree with the designs that they've chosen. So we rely very heavily on those. There's, we're not architects. We can't say we'd like to see that window moved over a little bit because it doesn't balance the.
That's right, but you know that the ordinance says it has to reflect the historic characteristics, the character of the neighborhood setting in the borough. And if this is the first time you're seeing this, because this looks very different than the other rendering that was posted yesterday on the website. So that's just what I'm saying. That
Sure.
we're trying to
So-
stay on top of
So
this. We're trying to be important.
Just to clarify,
Mhm.
they're gonna go through and mark exhibits as part of their testimony and presentation. Those exhibits become part of the presentation, and if the board grants any approvals, they would be relying upon the exhibits. That's why I'm taking such care to mark them, make sure, so that that's the
Yeah.
product that will be ultimately
But
built.
it's just so frustrating because we're trying to do the right thing. We're trying to understand and it just keeps switching, it feels like. And so we understand that designs evolve, but if the borough is so, the planning board and the council and what it says right on our website about the redevelopment area, about how committed everyone is to transparency and communication, I'm sharing the confusion of the process.
You will see these posted on the website after the meeting,
Great.
right? And we're not voting on this tonight.
I understand.
So-
I understand, but it gives us more time to like understand it and ask a smart question instead of like, holy cow, wait, what's that?
Well, we can't give it to you before we see.
I know, so that's the thing I was trying to get at, like, I thought you guys would get it 48 hours or a week before, like, when I was on school board, we got like the big packet of information many days before, so we could all
Got it.
read it. Okay, so now I'm gonna ask real questions now about the design, I think you said, okay, last meeting, someone asked, hey, is there gonna be a roof deck? And I thought, I heard the response, saying, we don't know, it wasn't considered. And now it sounds like on the top of the apartment building, you are designing a roof deck, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, so I guess my question is, how does that impact the scale and the use and all the, because that's like a good story of living now, of use.
That's not living.
Well, of use, right? There's gonna be people up there, there's gonna be, like, I don't know what the laws are, so I'm just asking the question.
It's all within the writing of the zoning,
Mhm.
zoning ordinance, and you will not see those people. You will be, it'll be impossible for anyone from the sidewalk to see those people on.
Okay,
We're gonna have a conversation about that.
great, thank you.
Let
And then
me
I,
just say this. I think there's confusion, and I'm not trying to be, I'm really trying to be helpful here. Imagine this to be the apartment building, the tall apartment building, and you're down here. And your eyeballs are 5 feet off the ground down here, and you're asking if you can see somebody up here. You can't.
What about the back there?
but I'm gonna be able to see
The
it.
only people back there will be the people on top of another 4-story building looking over here with a telescope.
Whoa.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I thought I was allowed to ask questions now.
You are, I wasn't you.
Yeah, I know.
Sorry.
So also, just with all due respect to the architect, there are people gonna be on Broad Street who turn their head and will be able to see the 4-story building, right? Like, it's not magically just gonna disappear because there's 2.5
No, I think with
stories.
perspective, it will.
I don't, so.
Okay, so you agree to disagree?
Okay, I agree to disagree, and my question would be, how can the town or how can the developer, like, figure out what the view is gonna be from Broad Street, not just standing right up next to
We
it?
can, but this is the permitted height, and that's what we have to remember.
So I understand that it's.
We can
permitted,
help,
right?
but
Yeah.
this is a 3-dimensional model that we've created, and we have countless views of it that we can take.
Give it all to us,
We
want
can't
to
give you
see-
them all,
We would like to see a
but
lot
we can
more.
hear what you're saying, and we can go to her location across the street, put a perspective view from that viewpoint, and help you understand.
And if you could also do that from Broad Street, from where people like, give us a good view. Okay, well, we don't know that, because I'm not an architect and
No,
I've been developing for many years.
But I've been-
Someone who's-
I've been asked that question twice, and I said you will not see it.
Okay, so, great, so then I had, so the roof deck, that is a question, and how old and now every roof deck. And then I had another question, which was one of those things that caused like challenges last time. This idea that everyone in the townhouses will be storing their garbage cans and
Okay.
yeah, can we just talk about that so you can explain?
Can I explain?
Yeah, can I finish my statement?
Oh, sure,
about it?
sorry.
Because last time, it was stated, it was stated.
You don't have to, don't.
Well,
I'm gonna come out.
well, let me it was said that the recycling bin and the trash can would be stored inside the front door of the townhouses, and we were surprised by that. So can you clarify?
Yes,
Thanks.
yes. I was gonna talk about this another time, but I'll talk about it now.
Great.
Because this is a very easy answer.
Yeah.
The garbage is, the way we do this in our communities, can I finish here? I'm sorry. The way we do this in our communities is we pick up the garbage 6 times a week. So every day, other than one day, it's picked up from a standard 13-gallon kitchen-sized receptacle. The same thing with recycling. It is not put on the street, put outside the door, and it's picked up virtually every day other than one day. And it's taken to a central location. So it's not gonna interfere with anything else. There's not gonna be cans everywhere. What you're storing inside your apartment is a standard kitchen-sized receptacle, which every kitchen will have. And will provide.
Okay, so the townhouses will have that? as
Yes,
well?
yes.
And so our trash and recycling folks won't be picking up your garbage?
No,
Will
no.
there be?
Private
dump-
hauling.
And there won't be any dumpsters around?
Yes, we testified.
Oh,
to
oh, right,
everything.
in the back of
There are
the,
two of
in the
them.
back of the parking lot,
That's it, one there and one inside of our courtyard.
inside of the courtyard,
Mhm.
okay. I feel like I had another question about garbage, but I can't remember it now. Thank
Was it,
you.
was the throwaway question?
Yeah, so what, look, I mean, I think you can tell that people are really passionate about this. And we appreciate that everyone is here working towards better understanding, and I appreciate that people of the planning board also are hungry for really specific information of this application going forward. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, go ahead. We have a question from here.
So, can you just clarify, I heard this last time, you said in the apartment building, there's gonna be garbage outside of each of the doors in a receptacle?
Yeah, so again, you've got a kitchen garbage can under your sink, like
Right?
everybody else in the world does. That 6 days a week gets put outside. You don't have to put it outside. If
Well,
it's
not
full.
outside, it'll be in the hallway.
In the hallway, gets picked up, gets dropped off clean, it gets put back into your apartment.
And that's a common practice?
It's our practice. Let me just tell you, I mean, from a practical standpoint, it's great for us and it's great for the residents there. It's great because we control the entire process. So that garbage isn't being, leaky garbage being hauled throughout hallways and so forth. And it's great, and the residents love it because they don't have to do anything.
Okay, thank you for clarifying.
I just, I got a little unclear there. With the townhouses, how does that work?
Same thing, outside their doors.
Chris, volume.
Outside, oh, so I was just asking about the townhouse, so it's outside the back door?
No, front door,
Front door,
right in front of the front door.
they put it there, someone picks it up at a certain time.
Correct.
Can I ask you a quick question?
Yes, you, thanks.
Just tell Peter,
Yeah,
our consultant has a question.
yeah, okay. Garbage question?
A garbage question.
Yeah, could you hold on just 1 second? We have one more garbage question.
Just out of curiosity, what would?
Speak up.
Out of curiosity, what would then be the purpose of the outdoor enclosed?
That's the place that our people take the garbage from individual,
And then.
so that the hauler then comes to those two places.
Understood, thank you.
So the individual people are not bringing it to the dumpster, they're putting it out, management picks it up, brings it to dumpster.
Understood, okay, thank you.
Okay,
I'm Michelle Radice, Radice, 23 Elm Street.
You swear from town sewer? Thank you.
Okay, I've lived in this town for 30 years. I've actually been here so long that I helped build the playground in this town. And that was the thing. The town obviously has amazing schools here and it's gonna attract a lot of like young families, right? So my question is, was there ever a playground considered within this development, a play space? I use the playgrounds in this town in the summers, and the one right by the building, it is crowded with toddlers, and I'm assuming that these will attract young families with those young children, so was there consideration of a playground? And if so, why is there a pet spot over a playground?
Well, it's, can I?
Yes.
It's not one over the other.
Okay,
We generally try to keep that kind of program, I'm sorry. Try to keep that kind of programming to see who our residents really are. So we have spots that we have designated as potential locations for outdoor play areas for children. But we don't know whether we're gonna actually get enough children to support them. But
would that be a consideration?
Yeah, sure.
Like that, the town, so that they can alleviate that toddler playground is right by, it's right across from Railroad, Tomato Factory, for toddlers, it's very small, 2 swings, and it gets crowded there in the summer, so if, in my head, these townhomes are gonna, again, bring lots of children, and that will then take away from
I mean,
people who've been here.
despite the reaction, we don't get lots of children in our communities. However, were there to be
Yeah.
lots of children, we would cater to them.
Okay.
So, we've got some outdoor spaces that we can designate. We have it even inside the community building, we have a gym set up, and sometimes in the corner of gyms, we have little play areas
Is that
for
open to the
children.
community, or is that just
Open
for
to the people
residents?
the residents of our, yeah.
So if you've made a play space, would that be open to the community, or would that just be open to residents?
It would really be open for the residents. It's just, there are liability issues and so forth, unfortunately.
Thank you. One with a black sleeve, yes. That's all I can say, sorry.
I think that's deep green.
Thanks.
We can't talk about the colors of people's clothing or building.
You're right, it is green, sorry about that.
Jamie Kenny, I live in Taylor Terrace.
It's
That's
very
where it's
well too. Thank you.
And can you spell your last name, please? Kenny, Kenney. Thank you. In I believe it was exhibit, A17. We saw a picture of the back of the the front of the apartment building. Can you just explain to us what we're seeing in the windows? Yes. So is this the view into apartments?
So that's the outside of the building from Somerset Street. That's the main entrance to that building.
Right, so when we can see the green doors, red doors, is this a hallway into?
So that's the exterior of the building.
Yeah, she's referring to what they're seeing. We do not have the apartments modeled inside.
Right, so let's say if I was inside this building, is that green door the door to my apartment? To get into my apartment?
No. It's a reflection. Yeah, are you talking about the? Yeah.
It's the door of the apartment. It's a door
So this
within the
is
apartment.
so we're seeing a hallway? basically?
No. I would ignore what you're seeing there. No. From the standpoint of what this is trying to demonstrate to show, this is showing the exterior of the building. There was some attempt to show looking through those windows, but all of that has not yet been modeled sufficiently to actually be seeing anything that you can rely on.
But you would have an idea, so I guess the point that I'm making, if this was, to phrase it as a question, if it was nighttime, would when I've lived in apartment buildings and the hall light is always on, right, for the rest of the night they're always on. If it was nighttime and you were looking at this.
Can I just stop you for a second? You cannot see the hallway from this angle. Because the hallway is beyond the apartment, you're seeing into apartments.
These are,
You're seeing into apartments themselves, that's right.
So will there be anything done to mitigate, to offer privacy for those people living in those apartments and also to provide
Window treatment.
for those people to be shielded from?
We provide shades in every apartment and every window.
Thank you.
Thank you. Quarter, yep.
Hi, my name's Kate Harris, I live in the Borough,
Can you spell your last name, please?
Harris.
And can you swear to tell the truth?
I do. So I have one question, four questions. Nobody has said anything about handicap accessibility. Okay.
Did you testify?
I did not hear his testimony.
Were you here last time?
No, I was not.
Oh,
Okay, where can I access?
That, if you have a specific question, just can you give me a second response?
Today, you're doing all the.
The entirety of the four-story apartment building is completely handicap accessible.
But not the townhouses?
The entirety of the development is the percentages of required ADA compliance occur within the apartment complex.
And what about the surrounding areas, you know, the parking?
The parking facilities, we have to provide point of.
And so in site testimony I gave the prior hearing, yes, we have the required number of handicap accessible parking spaces, accessible routes from those spaces to the building. We provide that.
Okay, and will you be doing, a 3D rendering? I mean, a lot of people seem to be confused about what they can actually see from where they live. Like, you know, old fashioned, do you do a little scale model and?
Well, we said we would provide some additional views from across the street to
Okay,
answer
yes.
some of the questions that you were that.
Okay, thank you. And, also there's a updated New Jersey law about a 4 or 5 foot floodplain. Have you written that into your?
yes, yes, we testified to that pretty extensively last time.
Okay, I apologize.
That's okay. No.
For that.
Understood.
And, also on with the topographic map, depending on where you are in Hopewell, when there aren't any leaves on the trees, there is a great deal of viewability. It's not the right word, but, and for instance, if you're upstairs in the tomato factory, you're gonna be able to see this entire complex. The woman, okay, you said 5 feet, okay, I'm a little bit above 5 feet, but if you're 6 feet, or then you.
Yeah, do you have a question?
My question is,
Yeah. What's the question?
have they?
That's why they're doing the views.
Okay, I'm pulling this up because I want them to balance it out. The site is, 6 feet different when you have 49 feet on there, and then you have the 10 feet of the elevator structure. We'd like to see that because you will be able to see it. And I know you disagree with me.
No, we don't.
No.
We don't, but we meet the zone, and that's what we're
You do
required
meet
to
the
do.
All right, and then,
However, in answering the questions that's being asked, does the architect believe you will have sight lines to the elevator tower or the stair towers in the roof? My belief is the answer is no.
okay, well, I would invite you to come to my house and look out from the second floor.
We'll do the renderings that you're asking us to do that will help to show that what I'm saying is right.
Okay, I just wanted to. And. Oh, the fire.
We testified last time.
Okay, thank you.
There's lots of people here who were here.
And that's online.
Yep, you.
My name is Bianca Beltry. Can you spell your last name?
Sure.
Me as in Victor, E-L-T-R-E.
Oh.
Sure, yes. So my question is about trash. Are you able to go back to slide 19? It was the rendering of the townhouses. Perfect. So what you're saying is that there are 2, 4, 6, 8 units that are pictured right there? 8 townhouses? Okay, so each of those townhouses in front of the front door is gonna have a trash can.
Only when it's no. Only when it's to be picked up. So it's otherwise gonna be under your kitchen counter, the same way that everybody else has a trash receptacle under their sink. That's
Or
the
their
same,
kitchen.
or your kitchen, that's the same receptacle,
Okay,
and that will be put outside the doorway 6 days a week to be picked up.
okay. So like every morning, there'll be someone going around collecting your kitchen, digging a bag of trash. And for the condo units, or for the apartment units, we're gonna do the same thing.
Same thing.
Okay, so how many dumpsters were you gonna have? Cause I remember at the last meeting you had,
Yeah, they testified to that at the last.
at the last meeting.
Yeah.
Along the back of the parking lot, and then there were gonna be some,
There's gonna be one inside the courtyard.
one inside the courtyard? How big is that?
I don't know, it'll be sized by the trash hauler when we work this all out.
Okay, and then sorry, just to refresh, how many? How many,
Yeah, okay, after this, okay, yeah. Yeah, go ahead, I'm sorry, yeah.
how many dumpsters were gonna be at the back of that?
One.
Just
And
one,
recycling, yeah.
one like 2-yard dumpster, 3-yard dumpster?
Oh, no, I have no idea what the size is. As I said, we'll work this out with the hauler, because this is all gonna be done privately with
Okay,
a private trash hauler. And sizing is all a matter of how many pickups there are during the week and what the trash load is. And
okay. I'm asking this question because in Brandon Farms, there are townhouses as well as condo units. And per every 10, so the townhouse units are able to keep their trash cans in the garage, put them out once a week. But with the condos, there's no, garage type area, they do have dumpsters. For every 10 condos, there are two-yard dumpsters.
2 yards, very, very small.
Right, that's,
Right.
So-
like a smaller size dumpster.
I mean, do you have another question? Cause he's told you they can't tell you the size of the dumpsters, so.
My question is, you're looking at, probably about,
That's a statement.
Okay.
You have a question?
Jeffrey.
That you don't know the number of dumpsters.
Just to be clear, the purpose here is not to create arguments, like you were gonna have that opportunity later.
Right.
The purpose here is to just ask informational questions so that when you come up and you're prepared and you wanna talk about your issues, you have the information clear. And that's why we've extended these questions to try to make everybody, rather than, because you're gonna have an opportunity to make an argument, and it's just, that's why we're trying to focus on, ask a question. There's been a couple here that were very good, asked this question, got an answer. That's what we wanna try to move along so that we can get to as much testimony as information as possible.
Yeah, so my question basically was, how many dumpsters are you looking at in the back of that parking lot and in the center of the new truck station? Because if you have 10 condos, sorry, okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
All
He
right,
doesn't know yet.
that's my question.
Thank you.
The testimony is.
Yeah, two dumpsters, we just don't know the size.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna
Yes,
see.
you. Sorry. Sorry.
Not me.
I'm sorry, Joey. No, you are next, but we're gonna take a 5-minute break. Give everybody a breather. Yeah, just gonna. Sorry. Come on up. Okay, folks, if you want to take a seat, we're gonna going again. Thank you. You're up.
Pete Elliott, I live at 46 North Greenwood Avenue, it's Elliott, 2 L's, 2 T's. And you guys, it sounds like maybe you're gonna be seeking more clarity on this, so if I'm stepping on your toes, then I'm stepping on your toes.
For the record, you swear from the truth?
I'm gonna tell the truth.
Okay.
In my question. Can we get clarity on what the plans are for the roof and the 4th floor and how that complies with the 4-story ordinance that's been allowed?
So there's a,
I don't know. If
there's an exhibit, there's a roof.
Yeah. Exhibit. Got it.
Maybe I did.
Definitely zoom it in. I'm old enough to be really hot right now and blind. So hot. Okay, so that, I literally can't read that.
You can, oh, it's in front of you too.
It's on that screen as well.
No, that's not gonna help. Okay, so it's a lobby.
We can tell you what it says.
Okay, with a
Yeah.
proposed roof deck and restrooms?
Yeah, I'll scroll through it.
Okay,
Ready?
yeah,
So there's one
So
of the,
that's,
one of the stair towers
yeah,
and a mechanical room
okay,
adjacent to it, fully enclosed. There's a deck path from the stair to the proposed roof deck area, which is soft seating for outdoor seating for tenants.
and where is that on the roof of the building? Is that the street is that facing?
We're in the middle of the building at
Yeah.
the inside corner of the L.
That's some.
This is Somerset up here. And this is the courtyard and the community
Okay.
buildings over here.
Thank you.
This is the wooded area.
okay. Can you give me some clarity? That's a lobby?
It's just
It's an indoor space for the elevator to open out into to get you out onto the outdoor proposed deck.
So, and this complies, I mean, this sort of, to me, implies that we're adding a level of existing on top of the 4th story.
The 4th floor is living space, it's apartments. There's no occupied space on the roof.
The people are gonna be using it.
They're allowed to, by zoning, they have, by right, we're allowed to have a roof deck.
That was in the ordinance, was allowed for social space on the roof.
Yeah, I don't, honestly, I don't think it's addressed specifically in the zoning. I think what's being referred to is, by code, by building code, we're permitted to do it.
Yeah.
We'd like to have a passive seating area up there if possible. That's-
We're gonna have a conversation about that.
Okay,
Because I mean, just following up, if we're, you're gonna
Question.
follow up?
We're gonna follow up on that.
Okay, can I,
Yes. If you have
Can
a
I ask a
question,
question?
yeah, if you have a question, yes, go ahead.
because you stated that you think that families aren't the, most likely tenants who are gonna be moving in, and so if the most likely tenants who are gonna be moving in are like young professionals, I'm wondering what we think the social space on the
Okay,
roof is
so-
going to look like.
Not really a question. We are gonna deal with that moving forward, just so you know. Okay?
Okay,
I understand your concern. we are gonna deal with
Just
that,
a follow-up, actual question.
okay?
A little bit of a hypothetical, but, if this wasn't there, hypothetically, would we need stair towers, if we weren't using the roof for any,
The answer is yes.
we would still need
Yes.
stair towers of that magnitude?
Yes. The
As
stair-
opposed to just like a crawl up access
Because
ladder?
there are gonna be mechanicals on the roof that need to be accessed. And the roof itself needs access. So yes, the stair towers have to access the roof.
And stair tower has to be how you access it.
Mhm.
Christopher,
So we're gonna shift things a little bit now. We want to hear the testimony of the traffic person. Given the hour, what we are going to do is move through the applicant's is this your last, one or two last? You're gonna go, we may not get to that.
That's the last expert witness.
That's expert witness. And then instead of limiting everybody to questions, we're gonna just allow you guys to do, make your statements, make your cases. It seems a little hard.
No,
Says no. Public says no. But we do want
All
to
right.
keep traffic.
if we're gonna do this, it's just questions, agreed? I mean, we'll keep it the format we have, but it's just questions of the
To
applicant.
clarify certain. points.
Okay.
Okay.
We're gonna, so
It's up to you, Peter. So-
yeah,
Okay.
Thank you.
what are you gonna do?
So are we finishing questions for the architect if people?
Yeah.
We'll allow questions that haven't been asked that are just on his testimony and not, if we're gonna go into arguments, then we're just gonna hear all their testimony. And then we're gonna go and allow you to make your arguments and at that time you can ask questions too. You're not limited. We were just trying to do this as a service and it hasn't been working very well.
Yeah. We got some people in the back there. Rick, I've gotten you already. Yeah. No, Rick. I'll get to you, promise.
Okay, state your name for the record.
Sure. Greg Davies, Davies.
Do you swear affirm tell truth?
I swear.
Okay.
Question, with regards to, the architects. Has there been a fire safety analysis done by looking at the scope of the size of the building? I'm assuming at the parking lots are full.
I can answer that. I've been dealing with the fire safety official who's done an analysis of the building. He's also consulted with all the fire departments and EMS. He's written an extensive memo, which I've gone over and agreed to 99.9% of, I think everything, actually. And so in that regard, the answer is yes.
And is there a ladder?
It was testified.
Do we have a ladder truck?
Just testified,
Yes.
He testified to the last time, we can't go back on questions that
Okay,
we've already.
that's my question.
No, I understand, it's on YouTube if you wanna, do need it.
That was my question.
Okay,
He also testified that we surpassed the requirements of what's required for this development.
Perfect.
okay.
Ask and answer. Rick,
Thank
yes. Yes, I see you. You're next.
I still have to tell the truth.
It would be nice, thank you.
Actually, why do you have
But
to
any
tell the truth
question?
for the question?
Because a lot of times you're making statements as well,
Okay.
even though you're not supposed
Okay,
to.
for the architect.
I think he said the parking for the townhouses would be on, Lafayette, is that correct?
No, he didn't, that was testimony of the engineer that we have completed the questioning and
Here's
testimony.
my question, I think it was 17, the picture of the townhouses. The townhouses.
You get 17,
Yeah, I think it was 17. No, that's your part, I meant the townhouses. I know you said there's 19, they're 2.5 stories. Is each story gonna be a separate unit of, separate family or unit?
Units are on the first floor and second and third floor.
So each floor would have a different unit?
No,
No,
no. Let me explain. There is a 1-story, 1-bedroom on the ground floor,
Okay,
and above that, a 2-story, 2-bedroom. Just above it,
So each one will have 2 units, but not 1 unit on each floor.
correct.
Okay. Oh, the other question I have for you is, I know you said that you could not see the apartment building, from Lafayette. Is there some way you could see it on Somerset Street?
Sure.
How far up Somerset Street would you have to go if you were on Lafayette Street before you could see it?
Don't know the answer to that. Well, we,
What's for the architect?
no, I know. I'm for him because we need to study that. We obligated ourselves to study it.
Bring that.
So
We will.
he doesn't know as we sit here today, stand here
Well,
today.
he can answer himself, but I don't think he does.
Can you answer that? How far in Somerset you'd have to go to see it?
You will see the entirety of the 4-story apartment building from Somerset Street. It sits on Somerset Street.
But not from, I didn't mean Somerset, actually, I meant from, Hamilton.
Hamilton, you will not see the building from Hamilton because the 2.5-story townhouse will be in your way, blocking your view of the building.
For all of Hamilton.
Yes, well, except for the openings, the 15-foot openings between the buildings.
How far back would townhouses go?
I think we said they're 40 feet deep.
But you're saying for all of Hamilton Street, are you not able to see these other buildings?
Can you show a floor plan, a site plan, please? So what I'm contending to you is that any walk along this sidewalk on Hamilton, certainly on this side of the street, but even on this side of the street, your view of the L-shaped building is blocked by the roofs and the second stories of buildings 4 and 3.
Wait, those buildings are on Lafayette Street, am I correct?
No.
That's Hamilton right there.
No, you are.
This is Lafayette right here, which the same thing would happen. You get glimpses through these openings, but perspective is gonna tighten up. These are tight 15-foot openings here and here. And this opening right here is a little bit more than 15 feet. So you do get glimpses through those openings. That's it.
You sure we don't do glimpse?
Come on.
Tiffany's live. I'm on.
Thank you, Rick. Yeah, in the back, my right. See still?
Yep.
Yeah.
My name is Nathan Pratt,
You spell your last name, please?
Pratt,
And you swear affirm to tell the truth?
yes, sir. The townhouses were said to be 36.5 feet, and the apartment buildings are 52 feet. I just want a clarification on the topography, because I'm not as familiar with it. There's a 6-foot difference between like the corners that, do I have that right? There's 6 foot difference between the corner that is like open, has that little, like kind of garden part, and then the bar corner, am I right?
No, the 6-foot difference is the entire grade difference from one end of the site at Somerset and Hamilton to the southeast corner of Lafayette and the entrance.
Okay,
From this point right here
yeah,
to this point right here.
okay. And which point's higher? I'm just curious.
Hamilton and Somerset.
Gotcha, okay. And there was also some mention, I think, by the forget the name, sorry. The Historic Preservation Commission, about I think on one of the slides, I think it said that they wished it could all be brick. Is there a reason why only part of the apartment building is brick, right? For
No, there's a lot of brick in the building. The historical commission wanted brick on the building, and we studied all brick. It's just not, one, it's not practical. Two, you don't get the full benefit of brick, frankly, when it's everywhere. So we limited to rounding the corners and every entry. So we think we've got a good balance of a substantial amount of brick without it being all brick, so that it kind of disappears and you don't get the true value.
and have you, used your 3D model to see what the apartment building will look like from other portions? I know that was kind of asked before, but, from like maybe higher points in the borough.
No, we have not. We, as I said before, we can do modeled representations of what various perspective views could be from sidewalks and intersections around the site.
Okay. Could there be like a, I don't know, it's my sense, but could there be like a form for people to like, to ask, that they could submit to ask for particular, particular places?
Well, that's a lot of money.
Oh.
Everybody in here asks for a different perspective. I mean,
Oh,
just
I got you.
you know. No, I think they need to provide the ones that they think are reasonable, and I think it'll give the public a pretty good idea from most places.
Okay, I got you. I wasn't sure if that was.
Yeah, no, that's.
I didn't realize that was like an expense.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah. Man, you're on the wrong side of the podium.
I know. Come on now, take care of it. Dave Shuko, SHYMKO. I do. Thank you. Couple questions. One, with the utmost respect, you're not gonna see this. You're right, you're not gonna see it from across the street 8 feet away, but all through town. you know.
David, you're gonna make statements, we're gonna do that.
All right, I'm gonna
right?
make a statement. I'm gonna ask, I'm in jeopardy here. Have you considered, is there gonna be a roof put on the outdoor space? Has it been considered, discussed, or thought about?
No.
Not at all. Is the outdoor space gonna be allowed to have on the roof, tables, chairs, lights, umbrellas?
We're gonna discuss that, David.
That was the question.
Yeah, no, well, I'm giving you an answer. We're going to discuss that.
Okay,
There is not an answer for that,
okay.
other than we're gonna,
And as far as the brick, and I think it's not given enough detail, because when everybody speaks brick, you're thinking brick. But we can't get a color. It's kind of like our, that, but not what's up there. Is it an industrial 16-inch brick? Is it a 4x8 brick? Is it a red brick? Is it a clay brick? Is it a terracotta brick? Is it something that you see? Does it fit in this, any other building in this town? Has the brick you guys picked out?
Yes, it's a common red clay brick, the color of which has not been exactly selected yet. We have not picked the brick unit, the Glengarry colors.
So, can we pull up a picture of the front of the brick?
But it's the same modular size, 8x4x2.25 inch brick that you see on all the homes all over.
Right, well, because that doesn't represent 4x8 material brick.
Well, what do you mean?
Where?
The orange areas, and understand something, that the renderings that came out of my office were not this orange. This is something that's happened through the regeneration
Well,
and regeneration of
Good,
images.
look,
And I know that's what you're
We'd
looking
like to
at.
see.
And that, well, and that's why I said the color of the brick would be likely more to be resembling the color of the burgundy that you see on the Borough of Hopewell logo.
Correct, but we're still saying it would more resemble something not that and kind of like that. And I'm asking a question about the type of brick and when we see the brick.
Yeah.
Was it brought up?
What's very interesting, and let me just say this.
Yeah,
Take a
There- oh,
look
yeah,
at
there
the
you go.
corner here.
right.
On this monitor, it shows up a little bit red. This seems more orange. So
Right.
I'm just saying that there's a difference there as well, the visual.
Okay, and it's, another question is how big is the little sign gonna be out front now?
Well, it has to be limited to no more than 35 square feet,
Right,
and it's likely to be smaller than that.
likely to be.
Yeah, it will be smaller.
And then Leslie, could you pull up the picture of the deck, the front deck that you were talking about?
Porches, the
The
floor
porch,
plan?
yeah, the porches with the spaces for the tables and chairs.
I didn't know anyone mentioned tables.
You did.
but we-
Yeah.
I didn't hear
Okay. Now, you pointed, for my clarification, I'm not unsure if I'm reading it right.
Well, you're showing that area that's 6 foot. My question is. In front of those doors, you're showing that 6 foot out to the rail, correct? Now, aren't they two entrances into two separate buildings? So you can't put anything there. That's not a usable space because you have two doors next to each other.
Yeah, I didn't indicate that that would be a place for chairs.
Well, in a discussion that somebody brought up, it was that's big enough for chairs when somebody had.
No,
You said that.
no, what I clarified was the spaces between the doors affords area for a table and a chair. And I didn't say table, I said chair.
He said between the doors, yeah.
And that was because someone on the board had asked about room for chairs.
Right.
Yep. Okay,
When.
so he answered that there's room for chairs.
There's room for chairs.
Yep.
And it's, what else? Yeah, I can keep doing the question.
Don't forget, you know, when we get to the end of this whole thing, you can make any statements you want, you can ask any questions you want, you don't have to do it now, so.
Right. I do have one question. Your line of delineation going around the entire job site where you're having into the woods there. What is meant for that space, or is that just a space showing your property?
That's the property line.
Is that where you plan on putting possible playgrounds?
No.
Where would that space be?
We can't do anything there. No, it would be inside the courtyard.
So like in the parking lot or?
No, inside the courtyard between the community building and the larger building.
Could you pull the clicker on there?
Here, I don't have them. Oh,
Yeah.
we're gonna use this. before. Okay.
So you would eliminate if needed and you had a
So it
lot
could
of
be there.
kids, right?
Yeah, but again, we just don't know what is specifically gonna be called for, so.
Right, and all of your units, the apartments and the townhouses are always rental, and you guys sell them?
Always rental.
Thank you.
That's good, thanks.
Who hasn't gone yet? You've both gone, all right. What, come on. I got you next.
Community center
Come on,
building.
come on up.
So just say your name again for the record, you're sworn in.
Take turns.
Okay, thank you.
How tall is the community building?
27 feet.
Yeah.
So is that 2-3 stories?
No, it's a one-story building with a vaulted ceiling.
Okay, and then in this picture here, who's got the little pointer? It's sort of green on the right. Behind the building,
Yes.
is that where you're gonna be putting the dumpsters?
No.
Is it
We
gonna be
testified to the.
No, so we've dealt with the dumpsters already in the
No,
last.
I'm not asking about the dumpsters, I'm asking what they're gonna do. Right now, that strip of green
This is nothing.
is a driveway.
No, it's not a
A
driveway.
portion of it is a drive.
This
Yes,
is a
from here,
drive.
Yes.
No.
This green area is not a drive at all.
She's saying now it's a driveway, it currently.
Yes, and
Okay,
also
sorry.
the trees are there,
Mhm.
and you're showing some trees. Are you actually planning on planting real trees?
These
Or are they
trees,
gonna be the little,
So the landscaping was reviewed by the town's shade tree commission.
Okay,
All right, so it's appropriate plantings, according to them, appropriate plan, it's 5 people or 6 people that do this. They came
Okay.
back with a report and told us, yes, we think this is appropriate for the site.
okay, I'll review it. Thank you.
Okay. Sorry, I jumped on you. Yes.
Mary, and, 4 weeks ago at our first meeting, somebody asked a question about how many 1, 2, and 3 bedroom units would there be? And it was said that that would be part of the architectural testimony, and if it was, I missed it.
Sure. Okay, for the apartment building. There are 4 studio affordable apartments. 15 2-bedroom affordable apartments. 5 3-bedroom affordable apartments. 1 studio apartment, 10 1-bedroom apartments, 11 1-bedrooms within, 11 2-bedrooms. 8 there's a two-bedroom C and a two-bedroom A and a two-bedroom B. They vary in size slightly. So there's
How many just total two bedroom?
11, 8, and 2, 16, and 11 is 27.
Okay.
And there's 5 apartments capable of becoming 3-bedroom apartments.
Wait, we capable of being-
There are 2 bedrooms.
Can I do this, please? Let me just give you the overall sum.
Yes, I'm fine with
There
that.
are 5 studios, 42 1-bedrooms, 68 2-bedrooms, and 5 3-bedrooms.
Okay,
And that includes the affordable apartments.
okay.
Thank you.
And do you have them laid out in the locations in the buildings?
Yes. Yes, and if you refer to the site plan,
Got
that's part of our presentation. it's-
Exhibit A14, I think
Correct.
it is. Yeah, okay. Sorry to ask the question.
Yes.
I have a procedural question. My name is Rachel Williams. I have to start over with you, first off. Let's go squash me.
I've been to a number of these meetings. Some of my fellow neighbors have been to a number of these meetings, not with you, but with council. Some people have come to the last meeting also. We had meetings outside, I don't know if Mr. Higgins is still here. He gathered a group together and people met. We gave the town petitions signed by hundreds of people. We said, when will you address our petition? They said, we will at some point. Our petition was never addressed. We were told at all the council meetings, don't worry about it. You're gonna have a lot of time to speak to this development and you'll have input into what changes can be made. Now, tonight, you said, we only have certain powers that we could do to modify this. I think it would be helpful if you told us what we can change and what we can't change. So we're not just asking a bunch of questions and wasting everybody's time.
Sure. Christopher, you
Okay.
want to do that?
Sure, so, the planning board is a quasi judicial board. And what we are focused on doing is looking at the site plan ordinance and the land development ordinance. And that ordinance lays out specific standards. Our role is to evaluate whether this application meets those standards. So if you are talking about stuff like density, height, setbacks, we have no ability to change those. If the applicant meets those setbacks, meets the height requirements, they have a fully conforming plan. They met the requirements under the site plan ordinance.
Okay.
We can make recommendations, and a lot of times we're also focused on, particularly, when we look at these applicants and the applications, we know there's a certain density, there's a certain height, but there may be things that we can do to kind of work with the impacts, in particular lighting, for example. We talked about making certain conditions, and there'll be, I will articulate what they are if the board gets to the point where it wants to vote on the application. And that will spell out certain protections like, reduced light levels at a certain time at night, dark sky compliant. So that's where we're gonna focus a lot of the board. Its questions will focus a lot on those impacts and how to minimize those.
So even if they meet the technical standard for Hopewell, if someone here were to come up with a suggestion as to, yes, technically you meet the standard, but we think if you did it this way, it would be better, is that something that the board can consider?
Well, if there's something that someone suggests and the applicant is willing to do it, then we can make it part of the process. If someone makes a suggestion and the applicant is not willing to do it, it's not something, unless it's rooted in the ordinance or some other law or regulation, it's not something we could use as a basis to deny the application.
Chris, I also think you should mention, we have our commissions that actually review historic nature.
Yeah,
We have the trade tree.
Yeah,
We
there's
have.
a lot of people doing different components.
Okay.
But right, our jurisdiction and our authority is rooted in the site plan ordinance, the zoning ordinance, in this particular case, the redevelopment plan. And we're bound by those standards.
Okay.
You know, it's like.
So Road Mayor, like, I think what he's trying to say is the sign, everybody hated the sign, right? And so
That's not a big.
they heard it and they came back with a revision to try to make that look better. And so I think what the planning board tries to do is work within the confines of the ordinance, but find ways where you can make a better site. And so doing things like lighting and landscaping and mitigating, you know, making sure the garbage is right and all of those little things, they add up to really making the site better.
Okay.
And when you, and when we get to the end of this process and people are able to voice their opinions and make suggestions, it's not too late. I mean, if somebody makes a suggestion and Jeffrey and his team say, oh, yeah, that would really work well, it's not too late to change it at that point. So that's why we're just asking for questions from the applicants here. And then later on, we'll get all the, you know, greater, maybe not so great suggestions about, you know, what can we do to make this like even better?
Okay,
Kind of thing.
I have one more follow-up question that I had a legal question, procedural question about. The people who are on the planning board that are recused from voting, they're not recused from speaking like my good friend Paul, who has a lot of knowledge about architecture. I mean, he's not recused from speaking as a citizen,
I would
right?
reject him speaking.
Yeah, there's certain, it kind of would taint the application. There's a lot of case law on it, and if Paul has some points, he should talk to somebody else to kind of bring it.
Okay,
before
well,
the
you
table.
talk to me and then.
And also, I want to let you know that I would like to have all the council members here to hear this too, but we can't do that either.
Okay.
All right, so hopefully some of them are listening online and they're hearing this, but they can't participate in this.
Okay,
in this
thank you. I
process.
appreciate the clarification.
Keith,
You can.
Yep.
I'll do my best to be brief. So first, because procedure, that's me. And I'm still Keith and I'm still gonna tell the truth. So there have been references to various reports or analyses that have been done that I'm not seeing online with the rest of the documents. So in full transparency and the ability to test the veracity and confirm it, it would be appreciated if prior to the next meeting, we see the fire safety analysis, the shade tree commission report, the historic commission, to the extent that there's a document or a memo. In all fairness, like, we should have the opportunity to see these if they are things that have been considered by the applicant, and the applicant is making representations to this body and to the public that they've complied with them.
yeah, and you know what, so the folks, you got it. So we're gonna post the stuff in the testimony today. So for instance, historic, the slide presentation, which is the basis of their testimony, that will be posted. The Shade Tree Commission, they spoke directly to me, so I will get you what I have on that and make sure that gets posted. And fire.
Fire testified here.
He did, but I don't know if we got the.
I don't think he has.
His report, maybe?
Yeah, we need.
He said he was working on it.
Yeah, I don't
Okay,
think
he's not done with it.
What we typically do though is make it subject to.
It's a condition.
Condition
Yeah.
that make the, you know.
But I think Keith's point is he wants to see it for evaluating the.
Yeah, and whatever's available, we'll
Yeah.
look it up.
Yeah.
Right, anything that's being submitted to the applicant for compliance purposes, as well as the board for consideration to confirm the veracity,
Got it.
should be available to the public.
We agree.
Okay, thank you.
I say.
Yep.
The other procedural question I have is to the extent that anyone from the public wants to submit a rebuttal expert report, once they've had the opportunity to review everything that's being submitted, what is the procedural time frame as far as our next meeting, and then sort of how much advance notice do you need for a copy? So that way the applicant gets a copy, and their expert can review it and address it, as well as the planning board and, you know, the administrative staff.
I think I should first.
Yeah, please.
So if you have any specific comments that you would like the applicant to be aware of so that they can respond to or consider, you're welcome to reach out to the applicant's attorney and send your comments to the applicant's attorney so that they can at least, you know, like if you're suggesting something, they'll be able to take a look at it and, you know, come forth with a meaningful response, whether they can do it or not, you know. With regard to when we open it up to the public, if you have a particular expert and we would qualify, like, for example, you know, architecture, if you have an architectural expert, we'll ask you that person the same question about if they have an architectural degree, license in New Jersey, blah, blah, blah. And then, rather than just a lay person, which could testify to what they witnessed and, you know, what they've seen, that person has the ability to you know, to extrapolate data and give professional opinions. So those type of reports, if you have anything like that, you could send them in ahead of time, but it's not going to be marked into evidence until you bring it here. The applicant's attorney would take a look at it, the witness would be qualified, and then it would be marked in like the exhibits we saw tonight from the applicant. So that's sort of the process.
Yeah, my question sort of is on that is twofold. One, what is the deadline by which they need to submit it? And as a courtesy, when would you like it?
There's no deadline because the board doesn't see it beforehand.
Okay.
Because it can't get part of the record, like, for example, because it can't be cross-examined.
Yes.
So you can't just submit something to the planning board for them to consider, because the applicant has the ability and the board to cross-examine and ask questions. So when you get up and provide testimony, that's the time when it gets considered.
Okay.
If you have a professional report that you want to submit beforehand, the earlier you get it in, probably the better. You provide a copy to the applicant's attorney. And then what we would do is when we open up to the public and you're able to make your presentation, that's the time you would mark it into evidence and, you know, have circulating it to at least the attorney and staff. Is helpful beforehand.
So we're talking two different, sorry, I think I know from a discovery standpoint, I know what he's talking. So
Yeah, because we don't wanna.
I wanna clarify it for everybody.
Right. Yeah.
So we don't get to see.
You will not see it.
Not until it comes here.
Right, so to be clear then, there is no requirement to submit it in advance. They would provide the report at the same time the individual expert would be testifying on the report that they have not seen testifies.
Right.
Okay.
And then they cross-examine him.
Based on a report they hadn't read, yes.
Yeah. Well,
So,
in that regard, I think I would follow his lead is that, you know, you would be paying an expert, someone would be, and if we hadn't had a chance to properly review his report, you would be paying him to come back. So it would be,
It's always advantageous to send it ahead to the applicant, because then you have the opportunity to actually have a real discussion.
Okay.
Okay,
Can I-
so, yeah, you have another question?
Yeah, I actually have a substantive question.
Okay.
Sorry.
It was substantive.
I know,
Come on.
well, I mean,
Yeah, go ahead.
You're under oath.
I wonder, but it's a question. So there was a lot of discussion around the height and what I understand is the apartment building, as you had testified before, is 49 feet. And then there was a reference to an additional 3 feet, but that does not factor in, and then there's an additional 11 feet. I'm just trying to understand the structure where that houses the apartment is 49 feet total, is that correct?
Yeah, to the roof.
Okay, and then there is an additional 3 feet.
6 inches.
6 inches, which is.
The parapet.
The parapet, okay. And then there's also an elevator which goes from the first floor and it goes to the roof.
Correct.
Right, okay,
Then it
and,
goes to the basement.
okay, the basement. So from the basement and then when it goes to the roof, what is the height of the structure in which the elevator is encased on the roof?
About 12 feet, 8 inches high.
Okay, so it's the 12, so the total
49 and 12.
structure is 49 plus 12, right, is the 51, so 61 feet. Correct?
Yeah.
Yes?
not the way you measure height. But
Yes.
you measure to the top of, it's 61 feet, to the top of the elevator.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. And then there's also another structure, the mechanical, with the other.
That's it.
That's below the 3 foot.
There's
It's
two,
below the other, can you pull up,
there's
sorry,
two stair towers.
yes,
Come up through the roof. And there's two mechanical rooms, enclosed mechanical rooms, abutting the stair tower.
okay,
The combination of the stairs, the mechanical rooms, and the elevator lobby area is under a percentage that allows us to have that on the roof and not have the roof be considered a higher elevation.
you're right,
The
no,
roof
I'm,
elevation,
He wants to know the height.
I wanna know the height.
Yeah, I understand.
I don't want the legal argument you're making,
Yeah,
unless you're
no,
fucking complying with the ordinance, I wanna know the height.
I got it.
So what's the height then?
the worst height is the elevator at 12'8" above the roof.
Okay, that's the high point.
That's
the
high
high
point.
point. Okay. The other question I had, you testified there's been a lot of questions around line of sight, and you testified that you don't believe that someone walking along Lafayette on the far side of Lafayette would be able to see the apartment building.
Correct.
Okay, that you stated that's your belief. What you haven't indicated is what math you have used to come to that conclusion.
We're gonna just show it and show it to you. We're gonna bring side line of sight drawings.
I'm up here,
I know.
I'm asking my questions, I don't need you to answer my question before I finish asking you.
Why don't you answer with that?
So my question is, have you, as you sit here today, done a mathematical calculation? No. Okay, you are familiar with the Pythagorean theorem? I'm asking, so are you willing to do the calculation for the next meeting comparing?
We've already stated to the board that we will provide
Just-
additional three-dimensional views to show exactly what you would see.
Right, to scale.
To scale.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was it.
Okay, you got it. All right, so,
A procedural question, I'm sorry.
yeah, and we've got a lot more questions. So we're at 10 minutes of 10. I really would like to end this at 10 o'clock tonight. I'm sorry, we're not gonna get to traffic tonight. I mean, that's just the way it goes. So, if it's quick.
Yeah, it's very
Yeah,
quick,
Quick.
very quick. I'm wearing fast.
Quick.
This is Melissa Cookman. I just want to phrase it correctly. It was just said, like, so I asked, like, can I see what it looks like for Somerset? And they said, yeah, we can do that. And then what I heard the answer was, it's up to us to come back and ask whether they did it or not. There isn't an opportunity to do that, because next
Well,
time we're gonna talk about traffic.
No, if they say, we'll see, we'll take it into consideration, then it would be up to you. But they made a commitment that they would do it, so we will hold them to that commitment.
We have a list, Melissa.
Yeah.
We're gonna.
I know,
So-
I know I'm hungry.
Yeah, so we. They're gonna do that because they said they were gonna do
So,
it.
and if it's something that it was just, we'll look into it, then that's our responsibility.
Well, we are gonna do everything we can to follow up on
Okay.
it, but if it's something that's important,
You're right.
well, that was my point.
Okay,
That was my point.
John, thank you.
Yes.
Andrew Osborne.
Do you swear firm to tell the truth?
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. You spell your last name?
I'm sorry.
Spell your last name for the record?
Osborne, OSBORNE.
Yeah, thanks.
I only have one question. I know this was asked, but I didn't hear the answer, so I'm not trying to be repetitive. What was the answer to the shadow, the shade study, shadow projection? Have you done any?
It was the tree people.
For the buildings.
Right.
We have not.
Okay. I mean, are you planning on this?
We're not.
Will you?
We're not required to, and we don't plan on it.
Are you, you're not willing to?
It's, the height is permitted.
It's not about the height, I'm asking about the shadow.
Right, but the height is permitted regardless of everything in the world is a shadow, but it won't, it's what it wasn't testified to.
Okay. No, I just had some procedure. Well, first of all, just a quick correction. I've heard a lot about the height. From what I saw on the site plan, I don't know if we can pull it up, on the elevation, the rooftop is 46 feet, the parapet's 3.5, so it gets you to 49 feet.
That's 49 and 39.
49 with the parapet, at the top of the parapet.
That's not what we were talking about. That'd be interesting. Okay. thought it was 49 plus the parapet.
Yeah, that's.
Or just-
Yeah,
40, the 4-story apartment, total building height is 49 feet 6
Right.
inches.
So it's 46 is the roof.
yeah,
No.
yes, 46 is the roof. Oh, no, it's not right, no.
The 4-story apartment, total building height is 49 feet 6 inches.
I'll show you.
Well, that's the entire, the roof level is one.
Okay.
That's, I just want to clear up.
Lower.
Right.
Sorry, so we're correcting that. Okay,
Okay, so it's
all right,
3 feet.
cool.
And then just some procedural questions.
We didn't hear.
Numbers or, I'm sorry, it's in the architectural elevations that are online, so I don't show.
We can, have the applicant clarify it at the beginning or sometime, in next to just confirm, but it appears that,
The parapet height,
parapet-
I misspoke. The parapet height is 49.6.
okay, so the
The roof
parapet height
elevation is 46.
is 49.
As it's shown on the drawings.
Yeah.
So it's 3 feet lower than we have been talking about.
So the total height's like 58, right?
Yes.
So,
You're right.
so,
Thanks for cleaning up the record. I appreciate it.
so procedurally, with regard to the power that the planning board has, that a lot of it's just making sure things fit within the legal restrictions. But that also you have the power, if I'm correct, to address public safety and health.
Sure, there are issues that directly relate to public safety and health that's within our jurisdiction. Sure.
And then, just for next week, I'm not gonna testify to our question as an expert, but if I have a report from the police department, Hopewell Township Police Department, and I wanna ask a question of the traffic expert based on the police report, representative report, where I have to enter it into.
Yeah, I mean, there's some leeway, if you bring a public document, you can testify to the ability of like what it is. The applicant will get a opportunity to review it, we can mark it into evidence and then just see what it is, and then if that's a basis, you just have to put a foundation.
Like,
Foundation for the, like, for
for the
example.
document or the.
Yeah, for example, if you're taking a photograph, right, and you're gonna talk about what you see, you have to say, this is a photograph that I took, and make a foundation for that evidence, so it becomes part of the record.
So for a police report, I would say this is a police.
It's a
report from
public
Hopewell Township.
record,
In the public
if it's public record in the public domain, you could bring a copy of it and reference that it is.
Okay.
And that would be your testimony.
We have one more question unless you,
That's it.
you're done? Okay. David, and then I'm gonna close it, for the evening, so. We have, well,
Well, we still have to talk about continuing.
yeah, and
I do.
Carolyn.
Real quick.
Yep.
It was, schools were spoken about already and discussed the impact on schools, that it would, you'd have 20 kids.
No, that's council.
That's
That's council.
nothing to do with your.
There's nothing to do with us. Yep.
Okay, that's it.
Carol,
I wanna comment about a new creative, question that was lobbed at us tonight, and I wanna say thanks. Marion had left, I believe she's gone. The birds. I think that was a really great question to ask about the birds. And, I just put up decals on my own doors, and maybe that's something we should pursue. I know we have
okay,
Shade Tree Commission, I don't know who would be a part of that, but I think it's important.
okay,
Thank you.
all right. Christopher, I think at this point, let's talk about what we're gonna do next.
Yeah, so our next available was April. April.
Mr. Chairman, if I may.
Yeah.
Because of how long the questioning is going, and
Yeah.
I'm not criticizing that, I'm just acknowledging it. Would it make sense to schedule a special meeting to compress the time in which this application could be heard? Instead of, I think we know that people are gonna have a lot to say. And
Yeah.
we haven't even had the traffic.
It's up to you to look at other dates,
Would be a
Peter, but
shame.
we would need a date
I think it'd be
right
for the
now
benefit
in terms of in other words, If anything, it would be after the April date, I would say, because we,
Do we have a special? No, oh, okay, wait,
So
wait, wait.
So April.
So, yeah, the eighteenth isn't gonna work because we don't have Christopher, and we've gotta have Christopher, okay, so the eighteenth is out. The first we canceled because it's a Jewish holiday, so it's gonna be after that.
because we don't have a date certain that we could bring it to right now.
No, and I mean, the
Unless
best we
we
could do
set
is
up a
the
special-
second week, and then we got 2 weeks in a row. We've got two, in April, we'll have 2 weeks in a row.
I mean, if the board's available and
Yeah,
willing,
well, I
we
don't
could
know,
do a
yeah.
special meeting.
Well, why don't we do this? If we're gonna have the meeting on the fifteenth as our next meeting, between now and the fifteenth, if we come up with a date that we can announce at the fifteenth, right?
The fifteenth is not this hearing.
April fifteenth.
Oh, April.
I'm sorry,
Yeah,
April
but-
fifteenth.
But that still puts them off for a month.
That's right.
6 weeks.
When is
6
the
weeks, yeah.
next, when, the next planning?
Hang on, we're trying to figure this out. You know, we'll let you know as soon as we've figured it out here.
Unless you have a question.
Second week.
We got a link, we got something on here.
Concise place where all this information is.
Well, let us figure it out, and it will be on the Borough website. Yeah.
It would have to be the twenty-fifth then, right? March twenty-fifth would be the only available Wednesday if we wanted to keep it on Wednesday.
March 20th. You can look at it online. Yeah, what's that? You can listen to the tape.
Yeah, works for me.
Okay, oh, good.
Wait,
right,
wait,
right.
wait.
Hang on.
And notice on the whole back,
If we would have to do a special meeting or something, that would be.
March 29th.
So.
Bye, you guys.
So you're absolutely, for sure.
Not sure. But you can listen to the tape.
Okay.
Oh, is it?
So we just.
Yeah.
I don't think we absolutely need with that meeting, so you can listen to. I think we are okay with it, not you with everybody. All right, let's do that. The 25th. All right, hold it, hang on, hold on. We're all good. All right. Okay, Christopher, you wanna make the?
Yeah, so it looks like the board is available and our consultants are available and the applicant is available for March 25th. So what we will do is create a special meeting date for that. We'll do the sunshine notice for that. Make sure we have that on the list. And then we're gonna carry this meeting to March 25th. And that's what day of the week? That's Wednesday? Wednesday.
7 PM.
Want to make sure, yeah, Wednesday, the 25th at 7 PM. There's no like public required notice from the applicant. They did the newspaper and the surrounding 200-foot list. On the applicant, on the borough's website, we will have the information. I assume we're doing it here just to keep things simple. Yes.
Yeah.
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 Do you put it on the front page of the website?
Sorry, we don't control the website, but we could make a recommendation to make it visible.
Make it obvious, yeah,
Fine, sometimes.
yeah. Check Facebook, it's almost through Facebook.
And will be traffic, will we start with traffic?
Yes.
At the next meeting?
Well, the answer is yes, unless there were any questions that weren't answered tonight from the architect.
Peter, there's gonna be, but we have to follow up from the architect by the next meeting.
So
Not the applicant, but-
the applicant will have some flexibility of when it's gonna be produced. If they have it ready, they may be able to answer. If not, it will be most likely, I'm not gonna say this for the record, but but the next meeting is looking like April 15th after that. But as far as March 25th is, our focus really will be on traffic and then whatever else we get to.
Right.
Because there's certain questions that the community has asked and the board has asked about, like conditions during construction, and we hope the applicant will provide some information on that. And so we'll hear a couple of other things, hopefully that day.
Yeah, we also want to hear about.
The whole stormwater.
Well, stormwater was, we had talked about that, for the civil. I think what you're referring to is environmental. There were some environmental updates that they were gonna
Right.
report on.
Yes.
So that's part of, some more of the things that they'll be addressing.
Also, I want to, make note that we're gonna cancel the March 18th meeting.
Oh, no,
We have the
have-
application.
Oh, we haven't, okay, we'll be.
So we got it for 2 weeks. 2 weeks.
3
What's the?
Oh, no, right, because April.
Agenda for the 18th will be other, different applications.
Yes, right.
Other matters.
Local 57 will not be heard on.
Not
Right.
local 57.
What's that? Yeah. Yeah,
Okay,
we all good?
so just again, Wednesday, March 25th, 7 PM. This hearing will be continued to that date with no further notice. And it will continue at that time. Our intention is to start off, address traffic, that's our new issue we gotta get into. And then the applicant will go through and address some of the questions that were raised and provide some reporting on some of the other questions and areas that we've asked.
I'm gonna close the meeting. We can talk to you after we're done. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So made.
Second? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Stay. Okay.
Thank you.
All right.